All right, do a quick review of that there. Is that a cucumber?
What is beer?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of The Thursday Show. I am your host, Daniel Peacock,
I'm Michael Kelly.
and we are joined today by...
This is why you can't be on the show anymore.
We're joined today by nobody.
Leave.
I don't know
Because
how
our
this works.
guest
Should
star
I keep
just...
this on?
Well, way to screw the pooch in the first 30 seconds, Aaron.
Wow, this is why it's
Oh, it
taken us
doesn't
this
fit.
long to invite you to the show.
Heckin' darn it.
That's my funny bone.
Don't hurt yourself putting this windscreen on there.
Well, now that Aaron has destroyed his meniscus,
It doesn't fit.
And his elbow? Your
Yeah.
meniscus is definitely in your knee.
he had a transplant.
Oh, okay. The leg elbow.
The
You're right.
The lelbow.
The lelbow.
The lower elbow.
The lower.
Oh, what's the technical term for lower?
Also, in our studio audience today is Kayla, back from, well, I almost said back from the dead, but she never died.
On Dia de los Muertos.
Not that
Yeah.
we know about.
Back from the dead.
Well, there's no way for it not to be. And it,
Unless you do that.
also, I was trying to fix it a second ago, and then I was like, nah, Brent doesn't want that.
Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah, I've been wondering. Puts the microphone as far away as humanly possible. You want to just put it?
This is comfy.
Do you want to just put it on the other side of the room? Would that work better? No. You sure? That's what I've been wondering. I want to be able to see myself while I'm talking. It is on.
I did
It
turn
is
it on.
on in.
I just turned it on.
Should be. It's on the input computer. Did you ever fix it after you tore everything apart? Okay, now it's on there.
Hey,
What's
look
up?
at me! I look like a hobo.
You kind of do.
I should probably
We
cut my
are
hair.
in
Maybe.
absolute chaos.
No, I won't.
Okay. Good.
Now I'm. Oh,
Drew is currently dying. Welcome, Drew. Welcome to the Thursday show.
welcome
Yes.
back,
Going?
Drew.
Welcome everyone to
Glad
the Thursday
you're still
show.
alive. Can you throw
It
me my
has.
bullet back?
Yeah.
I need to.
It's
I
good
need
that
to
you're
use
finally
that.
back. Like now, everyone knows that you're not dead, and so those of you
Despite
who
all the coughing.
spammed all the chats with "Where is Drew?" We found him. He's not dead. Everybody.
In honor of Dia de los Muertos, Muertos.
Muertos?
Huertos is a different word. That doesn't even. Never mind.
We're sorry. We're
we're-
all Americans, and
we're
we're
eating-
terrible at the Spanish language.
We're eating salad and trail mix and
No, Daniel is eating salad and
tortillas.
trail mix. The rest of us are just watching as he eats this salad and trail mix. This super.
It's a very
healthy-
delicious
It's a
salad
weird.
and trail mix.
It's a weird combination.
Well, I feel like the salad and all its green healthiness really balances out the absolute not healthiness of this delicious trail mix.
The salad is just raw lettuce.
It's just raw lettuce.
It's got M&Ms, some nuts, cookies, pretzels. Yeah, so
It's
it's
heaven in a
Kayla's.
bag. It's Kayla's.
Kayla, are you able to verify this? Huertos means orchards.
What?
Google says Huertos means orchards.
Huevos? Eggs?
Huertos.
Oh, you mean the slang huevos?
I know, I accidentally said Huertos. So. Spanish slang. Swang.
Yes.
Why do we have 2 shots of David? Okay, what? Dave. I keep calling you David.
Well,
Okay, I
gonna
get
take
Daniel
David
and
out.
David
Oh,
always mixed up.
anyways, so real quick
Hey!
to kick us off, what is something that you all enjoyed over this last week? Something that you enjoyed doing? Aaron, go first.
Oh,
No, we're
No,
just
we're
saying
saving that
something
for
we
later.
enjoyed.
We're gonna start off on a positive note after screaming our heads off for 2 minutes. Aaron, something you
Me?
enjoyed.
I'm up. Okay. I enjoyed pretty much nothing about this past week.
Oh,
Let me hang on. I gotta think about this.
All right,
what
skip.
all happened?
what a way to start it off.
So
Don't
first,
talk about everything that happened. Just talk about
everything
stuff
that
that's fun.
happened.
This
So
isn't
Sunday
your
morning,
week
I
in
woke
30
up.
Seconds.
Oh.
This is just find something you find enjoyable.
Well, I had a presentation due on Tuesday as well as a humanities test. But I skipped the class that I had to do the presentation in because I fell asleep through my alarm.
How do you sleep through?
Did
an
you
alarm?
enjoy that?
Yeah, well, I liked that. I guess it was nice sleep. But then they were like, "Where you at?" So it's like, "Oh poop! Now I have to present on Thursday," and I didn't even present today.
That reminds me of a time I missed the class, and
Yeah.
Michael knows all about this one.
So, we were supposed to be at a final for one of our classes, and it was at a different time than Daniel clearly thought it was. So we're sitting there in class getting ready to start our final, and our professor is like, "Where's Daniel?" And I'm like, "I think he mentioned something about going and taking a nap." So I had called him. Yep, he was taking a nap.
I got the call, and I was on the top bunk in my room, and I remember Conley, my roommate, was playing Call of Duty in there, and we had one other person in there just hanging out with us. And I remember I got the call, and Michael was like, "Where are you? Our finals right now." And I was like, "Right now?" And as the word "now" left my mouth, I was in air, jumping off of the top bed, and landed into my shoes, and my feet just slid into the shoes, and I was just hauling butt across campus.
He broke his ankle.
And then halfway across campus, I slipped into a storm drain and twisted and sprained my ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw
Him limping into class.
my friend Neil, who was on his way to the same final and was also late.
Yeah.
And so
they were both limping.
we limped into the final probably 10 minutes late, and our professor was just flabbergasted.
Dang. How did that happen? What were you doing to get in the way of a rattlesnake?
I was in Savannah, Georgia. That's why. I saw 3 venomous snakes while I was there.
Yep.
I haven't seen a snake all summer.
And those are just the locals.
And it was 5 minutes before the race, and I really wanted to pee so bad I couldn't get to the bathroom. So I pulled over my bike and decided to jump in the weeds and started peeing. Halfway through, I thought, I probably should have looked for snakes. There's your microphone on?
Nope, it's not.
Hello?
Oh,
Should I start my story over?
Yes, start the story over for those in the back.
Okay. Anyways, am I on now?
His mic should now be on, folks. Okay.
Okay.
Good to go.
Anyways, my week. Almost stepped on a rattlesnake. I was in Savannah, Georgia, at a race. I had to pee really bad before the race. It was 10 minutes before. I jumped through the weeds to pee. Okay, now we're caught up. So I was peeing. Halfway through, I thought, I should have probably checked for snakes because it was really high weeds. And as soon as I said that, I looked on the ground, and there was a giant rattlesnake curled up, probably this big, curled up.
Covered in pee.
Ooh, no.
And it was just out of my pee stream. That's how close it was. And it was probably that big around, in the middle.
Oh,
And
boy.
so I'm used to seeing rattlesnakes, so I didn't freak out. But I was I slowly just started backing up. And then I hear my friend scream behind me doing the same thing. 2 copperheads mating by his left foot while he's peeing, and he didn't see him. All in this span of time. So yeah, that was the start of my week.
How
Saturday
did you not
morning.
notice 2 snakes going at it right next to you?
Well, there was a rock, and he's peeing, and he's like, and there's 2 tails sticking out this much, and they're wound up, and we pulled them out. They were straight up copperheads this long and super thick, you know. So
Why'd you pull them out?
Yeah.
our assistant coach pulled them out with a stick, and then proceeded to take a stick and chuck them in the air, and they did spirals all the way down, just for kicks and giggles.
I bet that was the night of their life.
But anyways,
Whoa.
Anyways, yeah. So rattlesnake and two copperheads like within minutes of each other, right before a race. So I started the race and my heart rate was like 160 already. So
So
You
did
got
you
a
do
nice
good?
head start.
no, I did terrible. It was the worst race of my life.
Oh man.
So
All
That
of
was my-
all of
that
the
was-
excitement from seeing the snakes going at it just
yeah,
got to him and kept him from being able to. Do
that's some
well.
real poor quality right there that just
That
flashed
must
up on the
have
screen.
been.
Anyways,
That must have been. I can't remember the name of it, but a voodoo's pet.
could have been
Because there's a lot of voodoo in Savannah.
probably so.
The two copperheads or the one rattlesnake.
Probably all three.
They were one person's pet.
I want to
Yeah.
say
They
animus,
just
but
had
I
'em
know
in the
that's not
woods.
right. But basically, they're like, oh, totem. Excuse me. It was probably voodoo's totem.
Snakes.
He almost beat on his totem.
Yeah, it was
That would not have
huge.
been good.
So yeah.
Just
Anyways,
imagine if you had one.
Oh.
that
Can you
would
imagine how angry that rattlesnake would have been?
Pretty angry. Rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been pretty angry. Some would say, pissed.
Oh my god.
Get your fat head out of the way.
We're trying to do a show here. Gosh.
Anything else exciting happened this week for anyone?
Yeah, I was trying to
Nowhere
get something
near
started.
as-
I was trying to get something like positive started, and we're like, I almost died peeing on the snake. And
Yeah, like that doesn't happen very
I
often.
know.
I thought I should tell you about it. So yeah.
All right, well, Michael, how was
Anyways.
your week?
Ah,
Crazy and
It-
negative.
the crazy and negative week. I
The-
felt really overwhelmed with the amount of work that I've had to do this week, and in reality, I didn't have that much work, or I still have quite a bit to do, but it has felt like I had a lot more to do than I have. So it's been kind of nice getting the work done that I need to be done. But this motion graphics is going to kill me.
Yeah.
I am 100% positive that this motion graphics project is going to be the death of me.
Here's Brent.
Michael, do you want to know something? Hold on. Wait.
Please tell me.
Is your
the
mic
data
not
is-
working? Hey, I don't think your mic is working. There's only 3 mics like showing signal right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
That's the top.
okay.
Mine is a second.
Wait, what about where's mine? Oh, it's also the bottom one.
Wait. Mine
Mine's second.
is the bottom one.
Mine's second.
Top audio.
Can people hear me?
I don't
What
think
is,
yours is on, Michael.
I,
Yeah, Michael's isn't
you
on.
said
I don't
we
think.
should have 4 mics.
What does audio?
It's
mean?
on. Like it's definitely on. Yeah. It just
It's
it
just-
just
it
doesn't
shows up.
appear like it is the thing. So what were you
Oh my
saying?
gosh.
Yeah, enlighten us real quick.
Yeah, please.
Whoa. Keyboard.
Brad,
What's up, Brent?
Brad says he's proud of you for jumping into Cinema 4D, and he hopes that you do a really good job.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, he
Uh,
told me that. I was
okay.
leaving, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm impressed with Michael." And I was like, "Thanks." Why?
Brent, you're not the only one that can get recognition for their work, okay? Also, it's still going to be the death of me. I hate that it's due Sunday night.
Just because we jumped in doesn't mean we're good at it.
Yes. I mean, I have built headphones, and I still need to do the rest of my logo, which is just an M underneath the headphones. But I still have to do that, and then I have to render out the whole project, which he suggests I do on 2 different computers, rendering it out 10 frames at a time. It's going to be a long weekend, and all I want to do is play Call of Duty.
I
Accurate.
spent at least 4.5 hours today playing Assassin's Creed just because.
The newest one,
No, Syndicate.
that's a good one too. I enjoyed it.
I can't afford new games. Who are you? No.
I already spent $60 on the new Call of Duty, so
Yeah,
I'm
which
already.
you get sooner than I do.
Yeah, it is literally already on my console, and in about 3 hours, I can just walk in there and boot it up and play it.
Yeah, I decided to go with the physical copy because I like having the game cases and all that sort of stuff. I'm weird. I like hardware.
I mean,
That
But-
makes sense to me.
there's nothing wrong with that.
So
and enjoy
Yeah,
it.
so I'm gonna be having to go to the store, GameStop tomorrow. I guess I could go to the midnight release, but
Rent the stream. Oh,
I don't really want to go to the midnight release,
I was about to say.
and
it's
just
been struggling.
especially the night before a test too. But
Yeah.
after that, I'm going and getting it, and screw my my motion graphics project. I'm playing that.
Yeah. Well, you'll forget about it for a little while so that you
Yeah.
can, enjoy
Yes.
it.
I am having some fun, and then I have to jump right back into motion graphics. So.
Yep. Yeah, I was about to have a nice
You guys
segue.
almost segued into it, talking about getting
Yeah.
a hard copy and a console copy.
Yeah. So, speaking of technology and a generational difference of downloading, even though we're from the same generation, and
We are
I like
definitely-
physical copies too. A lot of younger kids would rather download than buy an actual disc. So, on the discussion of generational stuff and technology, the other day Brent and I got to talking about technology in our schools, and most all of us here are the same age. Aaron, you're a little younger, not by much though.
He doesn't count.
But most of us, when we were growing up in schools, we were doing good to have heating and air. If you were at my school,
Same.
that's not true. Our school did have heating and air. But we didn't have-
Mine struggled.
We didn't have a lot of technology. Like, computers were fairly new, and Wi-Fi was not a thing. I know for my school it wasn't a thing.
We got
until high
Wi-Fi
school.
senior year, and it was locked, and they were making the transition as I left. So.
Yeah.
Ours was locked, but everybody knew the password because
Same.
they tried to give it to like these. We had a virtual classroom, which was basically everyone just comes in and listens to a teacher basically on Skype teach. But since some of them had to use like their had to use a website to turn their homework in, like they had to have access to the Wi-Fi, and once they were told the Wi-Fi password, everybody knew the Wi-Fi password.
Welcome to the stream, Dustin from across the hall, everyone. But yeah.
Also, digging the haircut, Dustin. Anytime, son.
Oof, owie. But yeah, so what has been your experience in your schools of that technology? What was it like when you're there? Are you in contact with people now who can tell you like what it's like now?
Oh, I am in contact with somebody who can tell me what it's like now. My dad is a high school teacher.
Yeah, I thought that was way different than it was.
I was getting real concerned. I was like,
I
yeah.
was like, Michael, you going for the high
I know
school?
somebody who can tell me about technology. Okay,
I think Aaron made it a lot creepier.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm uncomfortable.
I'll just leave. I'm just gonna leave. I'm done. I quit. I quit the show. Brent, find a replacement who's gonna work for free as well.
Me and my high school. Oh, wait, come on, crazy people.
Tech opinion music? Are those three separate words?
What?
Tech opinion.
You did?
Oh, I get it.
But yeah, for my school, I started out in high school. My first 2 years was at, like, my freshman and sophomore year. We were at a building that had been used since the 1960s or 70s, I think. And it was referred to as the Tri-County Building because it used to serve 3 separate counties. And it was pretty shoddily constructed. The walls were really thin. So, like, let's say you were sitting at the wall in one classroom and someone was sitting against the wall in the other classroom. Old buddy in the other classroom would fart and you'd get blamed for it. So
Tap Morse code.
yeah, no, literally, you could tap Morse code and the person 2 classrooms over would answer. It was bad. And so when they started, I think like my sophomore year, my 8th grade year, they had started working on a new high school / middle school. And so they started construction on that, and they had all these grandiose plans, and it was going to be like solar powered and all this grand stuff. And we got there, and they had, put up Wi-Fi and stuff like that, dragging Marion County kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Just like Aaron is dragging my trail mix kicking and streaming into his...
Daniel's, not Kayla's. Daniel's.
Don't worry about me. I keep my trail mix on my game.
Spoiler alert, it's Kayla's.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Kayla.
She's just been sitting there eyeing the trail mix.
I'm sorry.
Any peanuts in the last one.
But yeah. So my high school kind of got Wi-Fi like my junior year. And boy, oh boy, was that a fiasco for that first year. Because they had no idea, like, how to handle students being on Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to make a new cell phone policy where it was like, you can't have your cell phones out at all in school. Like, put them in your book bag or your locker. At least I think that's how they did it. And that didn't work. And so they would let students have their cell phones out in class. But, of course, there was a lot of stuff blocked on the Wi-Fi. But kids found their way around that. Blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I remember our principal had to sit us down and just kind of say, like, look, we're trusting you with this Wi-Fi, and some of you aren't doing a good job with it. And I think eventually the culture of my school just kind of shifted to the point to where people could mostly handle it.
Aaron, you're cleaning every single piece that's on the floor.
But, yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. Let's see. After graduating, like, talking to my brothers who still attended the high school at the time, like, they were talking about IT decided they were just going to go and block Snapchat on the school's Wi-Fi. But the head of IT is a very incompetent person. He has very little clue what he's doing with technology. So he went to try and block Snapchat on the Wi-Fi. And instead, he set up like a loop of something, and it's not. And for those of you that don't know, looping is not usually a good thing when it comes to code. Looping of certain things. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he managed to not block Snapchat and also do something bad to the system. So basically that. Technology is kind of like. We have a CTE department which focuses more on like the technical side of things. So we have an auto shop, and we have like business technology classes, and my dad teaches marketing, and we have computer-aided drafting classes and all that sort of stuff. So they get a lot of the technology in the school, and then the rest of the school has very little technology / a lot of the people don't know how to use said technology. And also the school is very cheap, and they're not very likely to get technology for the school.
Yeah.
Oh, the fun of administration in a small county school.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Aaron, what was your experience? You young whippersnapper with your
back
cool
in my
hair
day.
and your pearls around your neck and your androgynous beanie.
These are rocks.
Oh, excuse me.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. We're saved.
A big rock.
We get a copyright strike from SpongeBob.
I hope we do.
Well, I went to high school in a high school that had, like, the first year that they started out, it was a brand new high school. The year that I got there.
The first year it started out,
Right.
it was a brand new high school.
It started out pretty rough.
When I first started life, I was a brand new baby.
Well, what do you mean? Like, what?
Like, what was there?
Was the technology good, bad?
Yeah, did you have Wi-Fi? Did you have iPads? Did you have, like,
We couldn't even afford
computer
textbooks when I
classes?
was your age.
We had the basic Fayette County Wi-Fi thing. I think it was a new version or something the new year, or the first year that I was there. 'Cause I hadn't seen it before, but they had this thing set up where you could go online and link up to three different devices of your own, because their main what really sold kids into applying for the high school was you can use your own devices. You can bring your own laptop or your phone and do stuff like that. So you could have multiple devices on the Wi-Fi network. And the first year they didn't block anything because they didn't really know how.
They didn't realize.
Whoops.
Yeah. So, oh man, there was. I remember specifically. This is kind of a bad story, but
Is it incriminating in any way?
actually yes.
Okay. All right, just keep going. Just someone call the cops
change the
real
name.
quick.
Well, yeah. Okay, so there was this guy named Nick.
That could be his real name, and we never got
Yeah.
it.
I hope he's watching.
I hope so. Nick, if that is your real name.
Or is it?
Anyways, there was this guy named Nick and this other girl named LaFonda. And Nick and LaFonda were getting into some kinky things after school hours, you know what I'm saying? They're freshmen down at the public library. Anyways.
The public library.
Yeah.
What does this have to do with your high school?
There's a lot of room.
Where's the
Any-
technology?
Getting into it. Anyways.
I was forgetting about the technology, and I
So-
apologize.
One thing happened after another, and they broke up. And then one day, I don't really know the backstory behind it, but Nick brought his phone to some back stairwell where they were going to talk about things. And he brought his phone and he was recording the conversation, which I don't really know, but some people said that was illegal, some people said it was not. Anyways,
That's probably
the
not.
police eventually got
Most
involved.
likely not.
But
So
what
I'd say
happened-
most likely illegal here.
Probably illegal. In the end. In the end, Nick happened to push LaFonda down the stairs
Oh, wow.
and then post the recording on YouTube.
Did you
And
change?
then-
Did you change the names to preserve privacy?
No.
You did.
No,
Yeah.
LaFonda?
With a name like LaFonda.
LaFonda.
That's like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that it's a real person.
Anyways, he posted it on YouTube during school hours, and then of course everybody saw it, and then he got suspended for 3 weeks or something like that.
Why did he post this on YouTube? I
I
don't
have no
understand.
idea. He was a weird kid.
He
But
obviously wasn't a smart kid.
well, yeah, but I don't understand. You clearly this is domestic violence here, and he's like, I'm just gonna upload myself committing a crime to YouTube.
You know, Childish Gambino has an interesting song about this. I mean, I'm partially kidding, but seriously, that's what World Star is about. The
Oh,
dumb
yeah, that's
phenomenon of
What world star?
people recording themselves or others fighting and being like, you know what's a good idea? I'm going to take this illegal activity and slap it on the internet with my name next to it.
Boom.
That's always a good plan.
Famous.
Yeah.
Instant fame.
That's how you do it.
I don't
You
think my
just-
school ever really had any, big scandals like that. I mean, as far as, people getting in fights on camera. We had a psychotic football coach at one point, I think when I was in middle school or early high school. Because my school was big into football. Because we, tiny rural city or rural school system. And we got a lot of money through, football stuff. And they had lost a pretty decent coach who retired. And they were looking for another one. So they went through, probably 5 or 6 years of trying out all these different coaches. And one of them was a total dud. And his son was pretty crazy. And the son got in altercation with somebody over what girl he was going to prom with or something like that. And or who was dating who or whatever. And so, being the wonderful parent this coach was, he fought the guy who was beefing with his son in the lunchroom.
Sounds like a good guy.
I was not present for this, and I might be misremembering the whole thing, but yeah.
Okay.
But no one recorded it on their phone, so I
That's
guess the
good.
technology tie-in isn't there.
There were so many fights in my high school.
Did anyone yell World Star at him?
No, I don't think we knew about it.
we had it yelled a few times
We're
at my
back in the
school.
mountains. We
I see what you mean.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'd heard of it, but you know.
Our school actually got notorious for having fights in stairwells.
Did people get pushed downstairs a lot?
It wasn't always domestic violence, but actually the first month or so, there were two people. I don't even remember their names because they were only there for like a couple weeks before one guy threw another girl down the stairs, or was fighting a girl in the stairs and she fell or something like that. Anyways,
Is that his story
they
or
both
the
got
actual
expelled.
story?
No, that's exactly what happened, and they're gone.
They have video evidence.
Yeah.
of it
Oh, no,
happening,
they don't.
so-
Like-
Actually, yeah, that was another thing. The entire freshman and sophomore year, we didn't have any security cameras, so
What?
everyone was doing stupid stuff around the school.
My high school
Oh
that
my
like
gosh.
couldn't afford Wi-Fi from the 70s had security
Yeah,
cameras.
we had security cameras. It was mostly to make sure the teachers were kept in line, not to punish the students.
Oh,
Our administration is terrible. They didn't care if, like, they really did not care.
These teachers are like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Basically, that's what it was. And it was, I mean, I really don't think the security cameras were there to help the students at all. I seriously think it was to make sure that the teachers were like, all the ones that I had were good teachers, and then a lot of the teachers are good teachers there. It's just, I don't think that the administration thought they were, and they just wanted to make sure that the teachers were kept in line.
well,
Yeah. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but I don't think the security cameras kept people safe.
I actually don't remember anybody having to pull the film from the cameras.
I don't think anyone ever has either with mine.
That happened.
Actually, they did it. I think they had to because they got a few kids. So one year, some kids did a senior prank where they took shaving cream and sprayed it all over the cafeteria floor. Shaving cream takes up wax that's on the floors. So they had to spend their summer putting wax on the floor, waxing the floor. Yeah. So, yeah, just don't put shaving cream on stuff that has wax because it gets rid of it.
Wow. I think there were a few times at my high school where there was a lot of drug-related incidents at my high school.
Those happen to mine. They're crazy.
And so I think they had to pull security camera footage for stuff like that. Where, like, some kids making deals, and they didn't bother to make sure there wasn't a camera pointed at them. And so when they caught wind of it, the administration could just be like, well, let's rewind and see what was going on at this time in this hall. And so I remember hearing about that a time or two, but I don't think the security cameras were, like, saving the students from the teachers.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like saving the students.
Yeah.
It was more just to. I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't like a.
It was like
It
an
was-
insurance thing. Kind
Yeah,
of.
it was more of an insurance thing, and like, it wasn't it. They used it to like catch those people, but as far as I know, like it wasn't really used for much else.
I think Brent just blew a bowl in the background.
Blue light just
That was the flash, guys. We don't take photos during this with flash photography. We know better. But
Well, Kayla, there's an open mic. What about your
That's-
experience?
it's
with
open
technology?
mic night
It is actually tomorrow, I think.
tomorrow. Yes.
That's a good point.
I love the hat.
These chairs here.
What happened?
Aaron?
Yeah, I'll bring the mic.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
I'd also like to point out that Daniel ate like 2 bites of this raw lettuce.
Oh yeah.
Chew loudly into the mic.
Where are these made?
But yeah,
Ambiguously.
It didn't say in there.
I just accosted some of my amazing friends from high school. I don't know if they've tuned in yet,
Yeah, someone commented.
but they can. They probably have a little bit better insight into technology and how that played into some of the drama back in high school. I don't know. I'm sure there was all sorts of other stories that I'm totally forgetting about or just didn't know about.
I have a story that doesn't relate to technology, but it has to do with like fighting and things like that. So one day, this guy and this girl were having an argument. Like they were a couple and they were having an argument. And at one point, I think she broke up with him, and he was incredibly distraught. And he may have threatened to shoot up the school.
Oh, I have a story about.
And so everyone was a little worried because the security like took him out and like made him go away. And then we were all worried the next day that he would come back and do something. And
Naturally.
it didn't happen. Thank the Lord that it didn't happen. But like this guy was pretty crazy.
Okay. Well, now I have. Basically, Brownsville used to be one of the poorest cities in the United States. Like, it's been listed on the top 10 poorest cities in the world. Well, not in the world, sorry. In the United States.
Mhm.
Anyways. So, because of that, we get a lot of grants and things like that. We got a lot of grants for electronics. And one of the things we got was, like, everyone had an iPad at the school. You couldn't take it home or anything. We had smart boards.
We all had smart
Yeah,
boards.
we had smart boards.
We had
I
smart
remember that.
boards.
Those things sucked, and I don't know why schools bought them.
There
Well,
was
I thought they were pretty.
somebody knew somebody, and that's how it
Whoever
happened.
created them must have made bank.
Well,
because
yeah, but they
if
didn't
it-
make a very good product.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm
They
gonna
made bank, but there was not a good product to go with it.
This keeps falling.
Your hairstyle's real cute,
That's
Aaron.
fine.
Thank you.
Okay, it's fine.
I did it myself.
Oh, I can tell.
Oh.
A lot of time and effort. I don't know what rankings.
Please,
So we just got a bunch of stuff
please
like
do
that.
that.
We
Please
called
go
them
like that
cows,
tomorrow.
Computers on wheels.
Yep,
Yeah.
we had that. We had to
Yeah.
name it in elementary school.
Cow?
You had what?
We had to name the cow.
You had to name it?
We got to name the cow when I was in elementary
What'd
school.
you name it?
I forget. I've slept since then, and it's been like 16 years.
Probably slept a lot since then.
I hope you slept a lot.
Unless you got
I
some serious
mean,
insomnia.
No, I love seeing Aaron's hair on live TV.
that's good.
Oh, what was the girl's name that was trying to sell bracelets in Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh my
Debbie.
gosh.
Debbie?
We're making so
Did
many
she have
Napoleon
hair like
Dynamite
Napoleon
references.
This is
It's
just
It's like
Napoleon
off
Dynamite
the side
week.
a little more,
Yes.
but yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Also, a great movie. You should go watch it.
Yeah. Speaking of Marion County or Tri-County High School, my dad once showed his 8th grade class Napoleon Dynamite.
We saw it.
That's
We
a
would
good one.
casually watch it.
Is that appropriate?
My father's a legend.
I think it's appropriate
Yeah.
for school.
I think so.
I don't
There's
think-
Yeah, I
nothing-
don't think there's anything.
There's nothing inappropriate.
I don't think there's. It's
So-
one of like the driest, like good but
Yeah.
funny movies. You know?
Yes.
Maybe
Thank
the
you, friend.
enhancement pills that Uncle Rico tries to
Okay,
push.
I don't like when he
yeah.
gets the pots and puts them over like,
Right about here.
and then like the
You
dude
could
walks in.
be here. Uncle Rico's just all around an uncomfortable person.
He's a great
He is that creepy
I
uncle.
like when he was making his own video for
Yeah,
I don't know what,
He's like
quarterback.
he's trying to go pro with football.
Making
So
like-
he's making like a scouting video.
Yeah.
And he's just like throwing the football to nobody. He's just throwing it.
One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie isn't even like funny. It's just kind of not even inconsistency. There's the one scene where Napoleon's calling Kip to bring him his chapstick, and Kip is shredding cheese. So like when it shows Napoleon calling Kip, right, shredding cheese, goes back to Napoleon, back to Kip, and the cheese mound has grown huge. So that's just one of my favorite parts. Like I try to like catch it every time.
I
That
feel like
watch
they
it.
did it on purpose. They were like, we don't really need continuity in these shots.
It was, or like what I pictured is that they had took it a few multiple times. It didn't feel like getting rid of the cheese every time.
Yeah.
So it just built up out of all the takes they took. At least.
That film has so many like hilarious production mistakes. If you look at the reflection on the door when he first gets on the bus in the opening sequence, the cameraman is like right
clear as day.
That's great.
I love seeing continuity / production errors in films and TV
Yeah.
shows and
And
things.
think, in spite of like, because Napoleon Dynamite was incredibly low budget. Like
Oh yeah.
Oh.
we could go out and film it with the budget they had,
Dang, they do.
and they freaking blew that wide open.
Yeah, they did fantastic.
For some reason, whenever I think of Napoleon Dynamite, the next movie that pops in my head is Nacho Libre.
This is the same
Is
writers.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was wondering, like, they've got the same, like, I don't know, the essence of it. It was really funny,
Mhm.
but, like, not bad.
Yeah, those were two of my favorite movies. Well, they still are.
I
Those
also
are two
quote
of my
Nacho
favorite
Libre, like,
movies.
as often as I can.
If you've ever heard me say, "Do not tell them these are the Lord's cheaps," because I do that all the time.
I like
Not
saying,
once have I heard you say
Get that
that.
corn out of my face, but it'll be like
No.
whatever is
We've-
in my face.
Yeah.
We've
Get
been
that
friends for 4 years, Daniel, and
never heard
not
me say
once have I heard you say that.
These are the, did you tell them?
Well, I've got a ton of dumb movie quotes that I pull out at random times.
Secret tunnel.
I'm sure Conley has heard me say something like that.
He probably has.
I know my sister has like superhero level of memory, and so she'll pull out quotes from movies like I forgot existed, like
Oh, wow.
Atlantis, the Disney Atlantis.
Oh,
movie,
that
I
movie's
never
so
saw it.
good.
stuff like that.
Never saw that one either.
You need to.
But when she and I were young, we watched The Thief and the Cobbler, which is an animated film. It's got a long history, and I could go into it, but basically, it was going to be great. Disney got its dirty paws on it and tanked it, and had Matthew Broderick bought on, which was a horrible idea. But that movie is extremely quotable because one of the characters was played by a really funny comedian from the '90s, and she and I quote that like literally every day of our lives to this day. Like, I will regularly use the phrase "My kingdom will come to destruction and death" whenever I like stub my toe or something, or
I
Which
usually just yell a
happens
four-letter
quite
word.
often.
or if I'm mad at something and I'm leaving. And this sounds weird now that I think about it, but there's a quote in there that says, "I'm taking the balls and leaving," and he's talking about golden like balls that they are like idols for their society or whatever.
I mean, that's so kind of.
That's kind of the idol of our society
Yeah, I know,
today.
it's kind of pretty.
3?
Hey, I
You
mean,
know.
I mean,
Also, speaking of Disney movies, what do you think about the cast for the new Lion King?
oh my god, I lost my
isn't
hand today.
Beyonce?
They
They got a pretty all-star
they dropped
cast.
a lot of money.
They
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Just
It's
hiring people.
It
yes.
looks A1 though.
It does look
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's
But-
gonna be good.
Part of me was sitting, like, I sat there and, like, the first time I saw the Lion King movie was when it came out in the reboot for the 3D version
Mhm.
of it.
Still good.
Yes, wonderful. I loved it. Great experience. But I was just thinking, like, I feel like that wasn't too long ago for them to be making another one. Like,
See, is it
is it
supposed to be?
live action?
That's what I'm wondering, because
how?
like they're gonna have to CGI everything.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be like the Jungle
So
Book.
they might as well just. I don't know. Like
I wouldn't mind.
that's
like,
what that's
So
my
will it-
main concern, is because this cartoon version is absolutely fantastic.
Iconic.
Like, I don't know how they can do it with their current quotations around live action.
I can't wait to hear the music.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're gonna bring in any new songs, maybe. No, that they
I don't
have
know.
the talent that they do.
Wait,
yeah.
why do they still have James Earl Jones listed? for
He
the Lion
is
King?
playing.
He's coming. Wait,
Wait, maybe
is he
they're
still
just.
alive?
Is he?
That's what I said.
Yeah,
I
was like,
James
if he-
Earl-
if
I'm
he's
pretty
still
sure he
alive-
passed away.
Or they still have the recordings, maybe.
If
from
they
the-
still have the recordings, then they can just reuse
Yeah,
his
they could just
recordings.
reuse- yeah.
No,
He's.
What?
Is he
Even
still
if
alive?
He's still alive. Like,
He's still
yeah,
alive,
still
so-
alive.
If he's
He's
still
alive.
alive, better take full advantage of that.
he is still alive.
Still
Good.
alive.
We don't want to lose
I did
him.
not know that.
We do not
James
want to
Earl
lose
Jones is a
him.
legend.
He really is. But the fact that, I mean, I am very impressed with the cast they got.
Yeah.
I don't know how well The Lion King is going to translate to this live action stuff they wanted to start doing.
Who plays Timon
Yeah.
and Pumbaa again in this one? Seth Rogen?
Keegan
Rogen
Michael Key, I
and-
think, is one of them.
It's Seth Rogen for Pumbaa and Billy Eichner for Timon. Let me see. Who,
Oh, that's it.
Just so you know, we have a request to talk about the soccer game that ended because of something.
Oh, the early
Oh.
one?
Oh,
that
the
was
one,
so
the
freaking-
homecoming one.
Speaking of
was a
Childish
good
Gambino's
story.
World Star song,
World
that should have been
Cup.
playing during that.
You
soccer
get a
game.
yellow card. You get a red card. You
Yeah,
get a red card.
true.
You get a red card. You all get red cards.
What
Yeah.
was this soccer game?
Yellow,
Homecoming.
red.
Homecoming
card,
soccer
red.
game ended
Okay.
at halftime due to a forfeit from the other team.
Yeah, it was from Pfeiffer University, and
Men,
basically,
men's soccer team,
yeah,
just to
men's soccer
clarify.
team.
Why did they
Basically,
Well,
the Pfeiffer team, Milligan scored a goal on Pfeiffer
Jesse
close to
Roy.
the end of the half. What
I think it was Jesse.
is he? Yeah.
Jesse.
Hmm
Um,
Probably.
they've been playing really good the last few games.
I think
but-
Ramoya scored both of them.
Yeah. Solid. And yeah, they were putting the smackdown on Pfeiffer going into halftime. And so Pfeiffer started fighting everyone. And one of Pfeiffer's players, did he get it
Okay.
like the
So I think he had already gone to yellow during
Yeah.
the first half. And it was like also just to create the setting, it was pouring freaking rain. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And,
And it was going like sideways too.
Yeah, it was not good. So one of the players had gone to yellow during the first half, I think, and then it got to halftime, and I think it was the guy that got the yellow, started yelling at the ref, like really ugly or something. He's like, you know what? Here's a red, buddy. And so another one of the players comes up and is like, why did you give him a red? Like, blah, 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 blah. Here's a red for you, too.
And you get a red card.
Yep,
And
yep.
you get a red card.
Look under your
And you
seats.
get a red
Everyone's
card.
got a red card, you know? And because of, I think the way that they told me was that the ref was just done. He's like, okay, game over. That's it. It wasn't
Yeah.
so much that like the coach was like, oh, it was just like done.
Yeah.
on their
the
fault.
coach
Yeah.
said, okay.
Because I got there during halftime because I didn't want to be standing in the rain the whole time. So I got there at halftime expecting to watch the second half. And I looked at the car next to me and there's 2 soccer players in there. I'm like, what? Is there a rain delay? What's going on? Like, you guys have been playing out in the rain the whole time. I see another one running. I'm like, yo, what happened? And he's like, oh, yeah, they yelled at the ref and we won. I'm like, okay.
Boom.
What if it was a
Sounds good.
coaching strategy to just get out of the rain?
Hey,
Like, I'm done being in this rain. Players go yell at the ref. Every single one of you get a red card.
Go get a
just,
red card.
Just do
Just
it.
go,
Okay?
yeah.
I'll give more to your scholarship if you do this.
But
Yeah.
I think I don't know exactly what the NAIA rule is, and I don't know if they're in the same boat as us, but if we get a red card, you can't play the next game.
Yeah, as far as
Yeah.
I know.
So they lost a few. I don't know when their next game was or whatever, but I just thought that sucked. Like, they got a few players not playing next game.
Yeah. We got some input from a friend of mine, Brantley, who's tuned in about James Earl Jones, and he said he's pretty much alive.
Okay,
But
basically.
if you heard his performance in Rogue One,
Both my cameras got
it's gonna
silent,
sound
That's good.
similar to that. So, you know, very tired old manish.
Yeah.
But it is still James Earl Jones, so.
Yeah, so it's still going to be great.
But yeah, the Pfeiffer thing. I actually toured Pfeiffer University when I was looking at colleges. I toured Pfeiffer the day after I learned of Milligan College's existence.
I didn't tour college.
I knew where I was going.
I didn't even come, but like I didn't show up to Milligan until the day before move-in. I kind of just showed up with one of my friends that was a senior. We drove here.
Yeah.
I stayed in the village the night before move-in. Big mistake, because then I moved into
Because then
Sutton.
you got into
I was like,
Sutton.
Practices. Why is it always Steve?
Surprise.
So, but yeah, I didn't tour any. I think I went to the local state college in my city when I was in 5th grade, like as a field trip, but that was it. I kind of was like, well, they want to pay for me to go there. I guess I'll go there.
Yeah.
Just packed up, showed up.
Free college is the best.
Pretty convincing.
Well, no free college for me. But
Good one.
yeah, Pfeiffer. I
Sounded poor.
don't want to badmouth Pfeiffer, but when I toured there, I felt like it was definitely not the fit for me personally, and they were just kind of douchebags.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
Basically, most of the people I ran into were not very pleasant. Granted, they're better than one school I toured where the coach literally left halfway through my visit, and I was just like, what? I was like stuck on campus, not knowing where I was.
Nobody to call.
Okay. There was. But, okay, Michael said something as soon as I started. He was talking about that he was scared that someone was going to come shoot up the school after they had made the threat to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Reminded me of a short story about in high school. So we could sell certain things during lunch, like other food. It had to get approved by the school, and then we have to do it like a certain time in a certain area. Yeah. So I was a part of a club that was selling food, like Chick-fil-A as a fundraiser. So I had to go meet the Chick-fil-A lady outside to get the warmer full of chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
So on my way to go to the front office, I did that, and then I see them like calling in the lady like this, and so she ran in. I was very confused. I'm like, okay, I know people want the Chick-fil-A sandwiches, but who wants them that bad? And so I get to the front office, and I'm like, oh, I'm here for and they pull me inside the front office. They pull her in the front office. And anyone else that was there, they pulled us all into the front office. And then they all split us into, like, the vice principal's offices and in the counselor's offices. And they told us to turn off the lights, stay away from the windows, get under the desk. I was just like, oh, a lockdown. They could have said that, you know? I'm like, why haven't they announced it to the school yet? And as soon as I get into the door, they're like, lockdown. I was like, okay, this is not my favorite place to be during a lockdown because it's in the front of the school. It's the main office, you know. If anyone's going to be mad at someone, it might be someone in that building, who knows? Right. So the scary thing was that we could hear the phone negotiation happening. And supposedly there was a dude that wanted to bomb the school or something. And there was always threats like in the city. Mm-hmm. But I just remember being in there with all those Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Like,
not being able to eat them.
And I was so scared. I was like texting my mom. I'm under her desk texting my mom. There's a threat going on. There's Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Do I eat the Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. You know, and it was just a very scary situation. I remember I heard like later on, supposedly there was this guy that wanted to talk to a girl at the school. The girl was a child of one of the like faculty workers in the front office, and he lied to the receptionist on the phone, saying that he was the faculty lady, her son. So he was pretending like, oh, I need to talk to my sister. And they're like, who is this? They're like, oh, this is your brother. I'm the son of so and so that works there. So they almost put her through, but instead the lady that was like the mom
Yeah.
of the girl was there, and they're like, "Oh, your son's calling." She's like, "Okay, let me talk to him." So she starts talking. She realized that wasn't her son; it was someone else. And then it got really ugly, really bad. And he's like, "I'm on my way to school. I have knives. I have this. I have that. I'm gonna bomb the school. Blah blah."
Dang.
And I mean, they figured it out. Yes. We got out. The Chick-fil-A lady was just like, "Okay, you still want these?" I'm like,
Of course.
I'm like, "Do I still have to pay for them?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna buy them all." And then I think we got in contact with like our club person, and they like had cut lunch short, so they said no. So you still gave me one, but I was just like so.
So you
Chick-fil-A
and
is the
Chick-fil-A lady
best.
bonded over being
Almost dying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being trapped in that situation.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A's the best. It really is.
I mean, you know, I'm sure it was her pleasure to do that.
It was. Dude, I still, like, if I'm not paying attention or, like, I'm zoned out and somebody says thank you, my automatic response is my pleasure.
He does actually do that.
It's bad.
That's cool.
I did it at camp over the summer several
I've answered my
times.
phone before. Hi, this is Kayla from C. What's up? You know, I'll just be like, thank you for calling. Thank you for calling
Yeah.
Kayla, not CVS Pharmacy. This is my cell phone. I'm not at work.
Welcome to Wendy's. What you want?
Like, I was giving out wristbands to, like these kids so we'd know if they were able to swim or not. And, like, afterwards, I'd just be, like, not paying attention, getting ready to move on. And they'd be like, thank you. And I'd be like, my pleasure. Dang it. It has been almost 2 years since I have worked at a Chick-fil-A.
Just it gets ingrained
And
in you.
it's just, if I'm not paying attention, it's just my pleasure.
At CVS, we have to answer the phone now. Hi, thank you for calling CVS. This is Kayla. Can we schedule you for a flu shot? So I'm like gonna freak out the one day where I'm on the phone. Someone calls me. I'm like, hi, this is Kayla CVS. You want a flu shot? To my personal number.
Do you want a flu shot? Make it really sketchy sounding though every time you answer the phone.
Have you gotten your flu shot?
You want a flu shot?
You want a flu shot? Most insurances cover it.
Almost all insurances cover the flu shot.
If you get it at CVS, you get some kind of coupon or something. I don't know.
Do you really?
You get a coupon for a second flu shot.
No, there was this lady that called and she's
Buy
like,
one, get one free.
this lady called and she's like, what kind of benefit do I get from getting it at CVS? I'm like, are you just calling all the places to see what you can
I just gotta weigh my options for this
I
flu
know.
shot.
CBS
Like-
told me I get a coupon. What you gonna give me right in?
They're like, Walmart's giving gift cards. What are you guys giving? I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, don't you just
A
want-"
flu shot?
I'm like,
Immunity
You're not gonna
to
get
the
what
sick?
do you get? You don't get sick. Yeah. I'm like, you don't get the flu. Maybe. I don't know. There's still
What
a
a-
few cases. so
What a
don't-
deal. I need to get my flu shot, but also, I don't really feel like going and getting my flu shot.
Every
Oh, I'll
time I
bring it
get a
to
flu
you.
shot, I just
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's legal.
Actually, I won't do that. No, that was a joke.
It was a joke, CBS. She's actually not.
Don't fight. I want to keep my license.
Yeah, she was joking.
We know that CVS is watching.
Always
CBS is in
watching.
the chat like, what was that?
Mike Wazowski.
I love
Also,
I've seen those.
your dad said to get rid of the ponytail.
Oh, he's watching? Oh, no.
It said in the live chat. It said from your mom. It said, "Dad says tell Aaron to lose the ponytail."
Wait,
I say you should
No.
keep it.
hold on.
I'm keeping it.
I love
I'm in college. I'm like 26 years old.
You're like.
No, you're not. You're like 13.
I am not.
Yeah, you are.
I can't-
Why'd you take my scissors away from me?
No. No.
That'd be quite the haircut.
Oh my
What's
gosh.
that now?
Speaking
Yep.
of,
The equivalent of a
Hold on.
cul-de-sac. But with long hair.
I like the good look.
I don't have a hair tie, so I just have to hold it.
There you go.
Boom.
I need to move it more forward though.
Yeah, you need to have it more forward like Aaron's.
Dad/mom. I'm gonna put it right here for the rest of the show.
It's not gonna stay there.
Want to bet?
Yeah.
How come your hair's so wavy? I'm so jealous. Is your
I
hair
get-
longer than mine?
People ask me that all the time. Oh, okay.
There.
Since we're on the topic of,
Told you it's not gonna stay that way the whole time.
I did that on purpose.
I told you. What did I say?
But technically,
It's not
Michael
gonna
was
stay
right.
there. It's not gonna stay there. And you went
It's gonna
whoosh.
stay on my head. It's
Well,
gonna-
your hair is usually on your
Hey.
head.
Don't backsass me,
Boy.
Mister.
Okay.
English.
Sorry.
Do they speak English
Don't
in what?
backsass Aaron. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. Do you? You probably do.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay.
I won't empower you.
She won't.
Good.
I'm just gonna miss you.
You ever bring my water bottle?
Everything.
It shimmers. It's like got glitter. Please?
Anyways, on the subject of subconsciously saying things when someone says thank you,
Oh.
I'll occasionally bust into the song Pierce sang in the holiday episode of Community, where he's like, "You're welcome," and I'll just say it. I just say "You're welcome" in that voice, and I don't even think about it.
People don't
And
get it.
No one gets it. Yeah, and I don't even get it because I'm not even thinking about it. But
Dude, that's like a very obscure, like
I know.
Yeah.
It's not even like a memorable episode, really.
I can't even
I can't
remember that
place
part of the
that.
episode.
Yeah.
The only holiday one I remember is the one with where they put Annie in Santa outfit.
yeah, it was
It was that episode?
Yeah,
I
where
only
they're
Oh,
remember the
okay.
first episode.
Well-
Wait, is the first episode the one with the Spanish tutor?
With Senor Chang.
yes.
Yeah.
Senor Ch- the
What show is
Chinese dude teaching Spanish.
Community.
You need to watch this show.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't watched Community, I highly
Watch it.
recommend watching Community.
Community is
I like
probably the
the
best.
community reference on the Unity episode.
Yes, the episode of Rick and Morty.
Unity community.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yes. It was
Grade 8.
yeah. But highly recommend the show. It's got Donald Glover, Chevy Chase.
Joel McHale.
Mikhail.
Starburns.
Yeah, Alex. He's actually one of the writers.
Yeah,
Alex
one of the writers.
Stephanopoulos.
Yes.
He wrote. Well, he helps write Rick and Morty. It was
Yeah.
created by Dan Harmon,
Oh,
Yes.
who
he's
is
like
the
super smart.
creator.
Yeah.
And well, was Justin Roiland a part of the Community team, or did he come?
I
on?
don't think he was part
I
of the
don't-
Community. He
I
was.
didn't hear about that if he was.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I know he's definitely part of
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty because he's the voice of 90% of the
I
characters.
thought that was a box of cigarettes.
But yeah, I can't remember the name of the
Wake
person
up
that
the
plays
kids.
Annie
Gotta wake up the
right now. What?
What?
Me? What was her name?
How close?
Like, what's the actor's name that plays Annie?
Okay.
I
I'm
should
not
know
getting
it.
that.
She's in a Netflix.
I know who.
series.
Like, I know who she is. I just can't
Um,
remember the name.
Dadgummit.
Hey, watch it.
I've seen that sticker before.
I can.
Um,
I
trying
can
to think.
remember the guy who plays Jeff's name, but I can't remember Annie's character's name.
Got him.
Well, I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up right now. No, I'm asking my computer, which is Allison Brie. That's it.
Allison Brie.
Oh,
Yeah, Allison Brie, Joel McHale, which you said. Yeah,
Donald Glover.
Brent, are you gonna
Danny
put fishes
Pudi.
in there?
Ken Jeong,
Are you gonna put fish
Yvette
in that
Nicole
thing?
Brown, Jack Black even appears in an episode,
Oh yeah,
and the episode is great.
it's so awkward.
Like-
It's so brilliant.
It's they start out with this joke, and they're like, Jack Black joins the group at the beginning of the episode. It's like before the theme song and all that, the title sequence plays, and he's like, I don't want to mess with the, and then it cuts into that, and then right after the end of the title sequence, it goes timing. He's like timing.
Oh, good
Yeah,
one.
the whole show is just
It's very well
It's
done,
brilliant.
and like they
Wow.
theme it kind of. They do like movie themes for episodes, and
yeah.
Was it like a Jack Black theme?
no.
Well,
What's your favorite Jack Black movie?
Oh man, School of Rock is.
Rock, dog.
Brutal Legend.
It's
even
gotta
though
be
it's not a movie.
Oh, yeah,
man,
video
I'm
game.
just kidding.
Jack Black the game, literally.
Yes.
What's up, Chuck? Welcome to the stream, my teammate
Well,
Chuck.
well, up Chuck is.
What's up, Chuck? What's up? Yeah, we're doing our stream.
Yeah, we got a
Talking about
YouTube
Jack Black movies
podcast
right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you were on it for a minute.
Yeah. We're gonna need you to sign our release form.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're not.
Oh,
But yeah.
We're not either.
I am. Somehow.
Wow.
Us normies.
Hey, Becker.
What's up, Becca? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Becca.
Oh!
Someone cut me with one of those ones. They were like throwing it.
Carb?
Yeah.
There's
I don't know what you're talking about.
just normal hair
They're
things.
styling and profiling.
Only half of the people. What?
What time
It's
is it?
closed? What?
Yeah, but
What
Jacob's
hour
closed
is
at
it?
9.
Like
Bohonglays?
3 in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
It's 10:06.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you about a story here.
Okay.
When I first got to Milligan, I don't even remember who I drove with. It was probably like Ellie and Cass or someone. But at that point, I just needed to ride to a grocery store, so I don't know who took me. But I remember going to this grocery store, getting off, and being like, "Oh, okay, English, awesome." And so I'm like, "That's so strange. Like, why do they have it named after like the English but in Spanish?" And then we get back to school, and then someone was like, "Oh, you guys went to Ingles?" I'm like.
Everything
And then
makes
no.
sense.
And then my mom and my sister came like in April. They moved up here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we went to the store to get groceries." I'm like, "Oh, did you guys go to like Kroger or Food City?" They're like, "No, we went to Ingles." I'm like, perfect
Ingles.
mix.
Ingles.
It was Ingles, but it's spelled the same way, literally
true.
Ingles.
Yeah,
and
it
so it
is.
was like Ingles, and they're like, "That's Ingles." I'm like, "I'm not Mexican at all." I'm like, "Oh, my
I think I've
B."
actually made the same mistake because I didn't have Ingles around where I grew up a lot until like I was a senior in high school, and so I was like, "Oh, is that like a ethnic store?"
And then
And
realized
is
it
for
wasn't.
White people.
I mean, they've got some.
Not as ethnic
They've
as
had
Walmart.
some good Mexican food there. They've got like some brands of some Mexican sodas I like.
Is
Oh, yeah.
white an
I've never
ethnic
actually
group?
been in there a whole lot. I just remember going in there.
When you were
and they had,
filling out all the like all your tests and stuff, it does ask the ethnic group, and one of the choices was white.
Non-Hispanic white.
Yeah,
Yeah,
non-Hispanic
non-Hispanic
white, and it always cracked me up because I was like, we're reducing this to white as one ethnic group, but all the other ones were specific.
I remember I would always put like, when it came to certain things, I would always put like Mexican or Latina or whatever. And then I think there was something different where I was like, "Oh, I'll put white for that." I don't know what it was, but I remember it said like scholarship opportunities available. I'm like, Mexican. Got into that real
True.
good. I was like, absolutely. And then for something else, I'm like, "Oh, what? Okay."
Ethnically ambiguous.
There's not a character symbol for my last name on here, so I guess we'll just go with white. I can't put the enye. I can't put the tilde on the end, therefore.
Just write it in.
Oh, so was it typing, or did you have to
No,
like
like
bubble
on
it?
every Scantron, I mean, it would always just put
Yeah.
like N, and I felt kind of incomplete. Growing
Yeah.
up, one of my favorite parts was doing like the squiggle, like above my N.
Yeah,
Those were the days.
that's fair.
I have to like Google how to put the little enye, the little
Yeah.
tilde, but it's really hard to like type it in to Google because I'm like,
How do I do this?
I'm like, how do
Keyboard
I?
shortcuts for.
Yeah, I was just like Google how to add tilde on N, and then I just like copy and paste it because I don't really want to use the alt codes or whatever.
Yeah.
N and then in parentheses with the S on top.
With the sideways
squiggly.
S. With the squiggly
With the
line.
S that fell on its side.
Yes.
Yeah, the closest thing that us, like white Europeans, have to that is like the Scottish people. We have the little C and then
Oh,
the
Mc-
capital C.
Yeah.
I've got that. I've got McCants. That's pretty
Yeah.
I'm a can't.
Well,
with that.
excuse me, I'm an idiot because Germans have
Like the O.
the
with
two dots.
No,
We
the
have-
Irish is the O something.
No, it's O apostrophe.
O
the Germans have the
apostrophe.
two dots over the O.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
That's
the
Well,
U.
in Spanish we have the U too.
Yeah.
The U with the two dots. It's
Mhm.
like for. It's like a we.
Tattletuyuk.
Gui.
That's a word.
Like
I
that's
learned.
usually how it's used.
Mhm.
With it's usually GUE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
There's a
French
lot of words with
has
it.
a lot of accent marks too. But I don't. French doesn't do tildes. Do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they just do like accent marks.
Well, at least they don't have like an Enya, so. Not to my knowledge. I could
Mhm.
be wrong.
I don't know. I haven't studied French.
Paging brand.
Paging Dr. Brent.
Paging
Dr. Doolittle.
Whoosh.
You had your chance, Aaron.
He just missed you. That was all.
Yeah, your brother missed you, Brent.
That,
No, I was
Do you want
wondering if
President's
you were
Conference
like in
us?
some other room just.
How are you gonna raise your kids, everybody? Are you gonna give them bedtimes?
First off,
Are you gonna give them cell phones?
can we
you
start
gonna
with
give 'em
like
long
a
hair?
relationship and then start talking about kids?
No. You
So
have
I
that-
just had to
I've
start
thought
talking
about
about
Next
kids.
on the Jerry Springer show.
Jerry. Jerry.
I was watching that earlier
World
today, and
stuff.
someone got
Maury.
hit.
Maury.
You are
Oh my
not the
gosh.
father.
Yeah! I told you. I told you.
Did you guys see the video of Travis Scott at some baseball game? And he was just like standing up in front of all the seats, and he was just like standing in his chair, and he was doing this like celebration dance or something. It was really weird.
I remember
You-
seeing that.
Maybe
I did not see that.
maybe I might have seen a picture. I don't know,
It was really.
but
I saw it today.
I don't know. Like, what do you want us to talk about with raising our kids that are
Raising.
non-existent and will not be happening anytime soon?
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of
Get your
question
flu
is that?
shot.
To not-
Yes.
Get your flu shot.
Also, the view that causes autism, like, I don't get it. That doesn't make
And
sense.
like, I don't think I would. I mean, the way I see it at the end of the day, I don't think I would love my child any less.
Yeah.
You know.
Like,
Yeah.
regardless.
And I don't
also,
think that is
also
the
it's
issue.
healthier. Like, to give them the vaccines. They're less likely to get sick from these things, and they're less likely to get other people sick from these things.
It's a crime. to not-
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So then,
other than
Unless
They
it's
had
like
to make it
religious?
illegal because so many people were not vaccinating. their
Yeah.
but I
kids.
thought people could use like religious reasons to not vaccinate.
I
They
don't
can-
think you can do that
I
anymore.
think you can refuse transfusions on the grounds of religious stuff. I don't know about refuse.
I don't think you
vaccinations.
can refuse vaccinations anymore,
Yeah.
which
didn't know
is
that.
good, and I
Because
don't
it poses like
understand.
a public health risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. I'm all about.
Which is weird. Which is also like, where did that come from?
Where'd
Like,
it go?
So there were like studies, but people like they added 2 and 3 together and got 4, and it didn't make sense.
Yeah, but like, why was this researcher like, I think vaccines cause autism, and when he researched it and found out that wasn't true, he still like pushed
He's-
that idea.
Yeah, he still pushed it, and
And also, why did people snap that up? Why did that become such a big thing?
it's like the flat Earth thing. It's a fad.
The fact is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
'Cause
The fact that
But-
the Earth is flat means you shouldn't vaccinate your kids.
if I can
Exactly.
throw this bottle into the air, I mean, and
but
it
yeah,
lands back, it's
100% vaccinating my children.
like- Yep.
I meant more in the way of.
Well, that's the question
Okay.
Becca
I
asked.
meant more in the way of.
Am I gonna is my kid gonna have a cell phone?
Yeah, phones,
Okay.
laptops, technology, that kind of thing, internet.
I grew
Never.
up-
They're never having any of
Well,
these things. They're allowed to have video game consoles, but it's not current gen. It has to be like
It's always one
they
gen
have to.
behind.
No, they have to start with like the Super Nintendo, which
I
is
want
what I
to. I
started with.
personally want to go back to getting one of those Razer flip phones.
Mhm.
I've recently wanted one of the pink ones again. I used to have one when I was. When did you get your first phone?
I got my first phone in middle when I started or around 6th grade. It was this little cheap flip phone, and like basically all I could do was call on it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get my first smartphone until sophomore year of high school, and it was like the very end of sophomore year.
How did you do that?
Yeah, my first phone was when I was 13,
Mhm.
and so that was my freshman year of high school,
Mhm.
and I had no clue what I was doing. Let me tell you about when I first had my cell phone. Quick diversion. You remember signatures? for
Yes.
text messages?
Oh my
Yes.
god, ew! I don't want to think about that. Right
Oh, those were fun.
Mine, because I was an edgy teenager who listened to like
Bring Me
Panic
the
at the
Ho-
Disco.
Oh.
I put silence is golden. Excuse me, tilde silence is golden.
Oh my god.
Because I was cool.
You were super
I
cool.
was so cool, and I had all the friends.
Oh.
Did you?
No, I had a group of devoted, good friends of mine who might be watching right now. And thank you all. Where's the camera? Thank you all for putting up with me in that phase, because it was
No.
weird.
But What about you?
Wait,
Tell them about how.
what are we talking about?
Tell them about our Wi-Fi restrictions.
Oh. Yeah, since mom and dad are watching, Brent and I used to, well, our dad set up, he was in charge of, I think that's right. Was dad pretty much in charge of like all the internet stuff?
Yeah.
So we were like, from ever since we got our first computers to, I don't know how long ago.
Or so I can see the
We were like, yo, we want internet, and then he finally got Wi-Fi
can't
hooked
see
up,
the comments
and then
on my
he
phone.
Daniel, you
gave
were
us,
talking over Aaron.
then he gave us these like restrictions where the Wi-Fi would turn on at like 6 a.m. and then turn off at like 9 or
It
10.
didn't turn on for me until like 11 a.m.
Oh God.
Oh.
Ooh.
We see which
Privilege.
child was the favorite.
Privileged second child.
Bless.
The older, the bolder.
But yeah, so it was hard times,
It was the best of
I
times.
cried a lot.
It was the worst of times.
and whoever had the Wi-Fi network Netgear 62
Shout out
from
to
somewhere else
you.
in the neighborhood,
Thanks.
bless. Stay strong.
Keep fighting the good fight.
I can just hear Dad
I own-
commenting right now.
Wait.
No, but telling your mom what to say.
Which one of you? But yeah. Speaking of fathers and internet, my dad actually used to play Call of Duty with me online when we first got our Xbox, and I think he got more angry at the internet than I did.
Oh dang.
And so we were constantly fighting the really bad Wi-Fi we had because we lived like in the middle of nowhere. We were used to some Muriel, but
Good.
30 years younger.
Just as scary.
Yeah, just as scary. I legit saw ghosts at my old house, but we missed the window for that with
Yep.
our Halloween episode.
Sure did.
But
Oh.
yeah, we had pretty bad Wi-Fi at my house.
See, my parents thought the online gaming is what caused the bad Wi-Fi, and not because we had bad Wi-Fi. So, I think it was also an excuse to get us to stop using Wi-Fi for gaming.
It does that every once
So, my mom was like, no, your guys' online games messed up the internet. So, you're not allowed to play games online anymore. And we were like, but
Boom.
that doesn't make sense.
Science.
But we were like, okay, whatever.
Boom roasted. I had a really cool phone. I've had a phone since I was like in the 4th grade, but that's because I was always like the way that I've been involved. I was like on dance team. I was in Destination Imagination. I was like in a reading club all throughout my whole life. So my parents gave me a phone so I could call them when to pick me up, or if I had practice or whatever. So I had this phone where the screen had like, I don't know exactly, like, I don't know if it was LED or whatever. You closed it, and then on the outside it would light up a different color for every person that called you if you customized it, or it would show their picture on it, and you would open it up, and then where the button pad was, it would also light up different colors. It was just super awesome. Like, if I could go back to that phone, I'd also be happy. If I could also like get on Twitter on that phone, I'd be set. Like, I could do with all the other apps. Like, as long as I had Twitter on it, I'd be fine. But I always was interested in those Firefly phones where you could set up the phone to only contact certain people. That's something I'd be okay with giving my child.
Yeah.
And I was always even really protective of my sister growing up with like technology because I didn't have the best interactions with it growing up, so I was just like, I was always concerned about her.
Yeah, I don't know. We grew up in a weird time. We were the transition. We were like the first generation digital natives.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so
I think there's
like
a lot of weird things.
yeah, our parents just didn't know. Like most of our parents didn't really know how to approach it, and like because it had never been done before. And so I feel like when we have kids way in the future, maybe we'll have a better understanding of how to approach this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither do I.
Yeah, and it's not like
Whoa, Google.
I'm not saying it's like our parents' fault because like they didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if cybernetic enhancements become a thing
Yeah, I
when
was
we
gonna say,
start
like,
having
what's
kids.
gonna happen? What's gonna pop up?
Little
by the
Jimmy
time-
shows up with superhuman strength. What the heck am I going to do with that?
Fight him.
or
I'm
not.
going to spank you, and then I break my hand on his butt.
Oh.
Just show him who's
So
the
you're gonna
boss.
spank you're gonna spank your children?
What?
Yeah, I'm definitely spanking my children.
Everyone else is concerned about
We're gonna-
spanking my kids, and then Kennedy's like, we're not naming him Jimmy.
That's so
100% spanking Jimmy.
Caleb says he'll be up in a few.
Oh yes,
Oh, boy.
yes,
Caleb Perney?
yeah. Caleb Perney,
Oh boy.
good old Perney.
Here comes
but-
the Pern dog.
Yeah.
Burn dog.
Yeah, 100% spanking the kids.
I'm not gonna be afraid of you.
He's gonna spank Perny.
Also gonna spank Perney,
We're
but
gonna-
that's a different thing.
Ooh, and on today's episode,
Also, I'm sorry for those that are watching.
That was Caleb.
Hey, that's not Caleb
That's not the
Pern.
right
We're gonna
redhead.
spank the next person that comes through the door.
Dustin's back, everybody.
Hey, Dustin, how are you going to raise your kids?
No comment.
good,
Hear you
good.
anyway.
I'm gonna use La Chancla.
What?
Yes, same.
The flip flop. Like, so it's a really big thing in Mexican culture where the mom will just wear flip flops. She'll kick them off and then grab it and throw it at their kid. I've been
I do that to
a
random
victim
people.
of the chancla before, and I'm gonna use it on my kids. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
I grew up with a white mom, and I've experienced La Chancla a time or two. This is La Chancla.
Aaron, get your
that was pretty good. That was a good. That was a good.
Yeah, it's
chancla.
like a. If you've ever played Modern Warfare 2, it's like the throwing knife that you get the big bad at the end with. It's a little just
We also use el cinto, the belt, just to scare you. We never actually got like hit.
Oh.
But
I
they were
got
like,
the belt.
I think
they would
he
just
did.
be like,
I think he left.
you know.
I never got threatened with the belt. I actually got
Over.
hit with
Did
the
you ever
belt.
get your like technology taken away as a punishment?
Yes.
Yes, video game systems like the handhelds, like the DS, Game Boy, got that taken away all the time.
I got my power cords taken away.
Oh.
That's a weird punishment.
Well, yeah, you gotta get on a mic.
Okay.
Why don't you come stay next to me?
Because I don't like you. You smell bad. Okay, so
Accurate.
when my family would take away like our cell phones or something, it was more of a punishment for my parents because they couldn't get in contact with us. So they had no way of knowing where we were, when we were doing things, or like anything. So they had to like.
Did you not call them?
We didn't have our phones.
But like, if someone else was there?
No. I mean no.
So,
Why?
Just so they can-
Why? I wouldn't have because I was just mad that they took my
Oh.
phone away. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, fine. I just want to call you. You'll just have to guess which exit you're
That's
gonna pick me up now.
horrifying. Oh my gosh.
Dang.
talk about
Wow.
backwards.
So I mean, to be
Holy
fair,
cow.
like they didn't end up taking my phone
See,
away.
this is why I want
a
the
whole lot.
Firefly. If they still make that, I want to get
Yes.
that for my kid.
Can't
Yes.
you get those in cereal boxes?
Just
I
gonna
hope
put,
so.
I don't know.
I
Just
don't
gonna
have to
put
pay
life
for it.
alert on my kids.
Nerd alert. I have a friend at the school who shall remain nameless that has an app where their whole family like
Is it
is
Life 360?
tracking. I don't know what it is, but like you can see where all their family members are at any
Oh
given
my
moment.
gosh.
It's Life 360.
And
That
I
sounds
they've
like
hate
an
been,
episode of
they've
Black Mirror.
been texted
Yeah,
by their
seriously, though.
parents like, "Why are you at such and such and not like studying?" I was like, "Oh, that is awkward."
Let me live my life, Mom.
Gosh.
Hey, let me say something.
Okay.
To whoever this is, if you're watching this in the future or now, right now, whoever, if you're watching this and you're that person, buy a cheap Android tablet. I'm serious. Sign into the app. Leave the tablet at home. Turn off your tracking on your phone, and then go wherever you want.
And that has been a tech tip from Brent Doolittle.
That's a
Straight
Straight out of
experience.
Milligan IT.
He's done this before.
Milligan.
Not with my parents, but it's happened.
Nice. Your
Nice,
parents are
good.
watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your parents are watching.
Disclaimer.
Never had this
Disclaimer.
Now they
Never
do.
knew what this was.
Now they do, and they're
Now
gonna
they
go
will.
download it.
Why are you at Milligan? Why have you been at Milligan for the past
Do you not have a
4
life?
months? 5 months?
Do you not have a
What?
life? Do you not
Do
friends?
you hate education?
I don't
Education.
understand.
Okay.
Hey, breaking news. Not really breaking news. There are more accusations against Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Oh, did you see that Lana Del Rey retired one of her songs? Lana Del Rey retired the song Cola. Like, she's never going to play it again in a concert ever again because of the...
Harvey
Yes.
Weenie?
all those things.
Weinstein?
Have you seen the lyrics for this song?
I have
All you
not.
have to do is tell people that you're gay. after.
They are not safe to read on stream. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
I've never been, I don't know if I'm going to get hated by everyone on the internet, but I've never been a huge Lana Del Rey fan. Never really got into it.
Blocked and reported.
I mean, I knew her from like The Great Gatsby, but that's only because I watched the movie, so I didn't have to read the book.
Just Aaron, she was loudly
That-
saying into the-
Those are the lyrics for this song.
Oh,
Just reading the first line of
Don't
lyrics
read it out loud,
from this
but-
song.
Hold it up to the camera behind you.
Let's not. Let's not.
It's not gonna focus.
Ha. It's not. It is not safe for.
It's not gonna focus.
It's really not
no,
safe
it's
for
just,
stream.
It's just that bad that it got censored. That's
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
Look up the lyrics on your own time or don't. I don't recommend it.
Oh, so this is super based off. Wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, it was kind of inspired by. Okay, it's a little.
it
more
is
just
like
inspired.
100% inspired
Not sponsored
by
by
this.
the
Yow.
What?
That's my favorite line.
Yeah, once I get my phone back.
Oh, that's quite
Yeah.
something.
Well, I've never been so disturbed just by lyrics alone.
Yes.
Well,
So
Lana Del Rey is definitely an interesting person lyrically.
Yep.
And
And in the first second of Kennedy reading the lyrics for this song.
She makes the Roblox death noise.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, it's
like that.
yeah, we're not gonna read the lyrics on stream.
They're bad.
They're real bad.
We
Don't.
can
Not as
Play
bad as
somewhere.
Grant McDonald's, but they're bad.
Yeah, that's true. Not as bad as those, but they're bad.
So there's a nice segue into an interesting topic. What is
True.
your
Found it.
guilty pleasure song? It doesn't have to be like with bad lyrics, but a song that is
I
either
know.
just dumb, like
Oh,
it is
I
objectively
can
dumb
tell
sounding,
you.
but you love it, or the lyrics are horrible,
Oh, I
but you
already
love
know.
it. Kayla?
Okay. Easy song. Favorite song. Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. Or Temperature by Sean Paul. Those are just like, I know they're not the best songs, but I still listen to them regularly in my car by myself. Or if there's other people, but I won't be afraid to listen to it by myself in my car. Gets me hyped.
You're gonna have to get back up here.
I'm a really big fan of Shiny from the Moana soundtrack.
Oh my god. That's
Does that count as a guilty pleasure? That's not a guilty
also,
pleasure.
But that's by fart
Sometimes I
from
listen to it when it's stuck in
that
my head.
episode of Rick and Morty.
But that's not a guilty pleasure.
I'd say,
No, Moana is mainstream. That's
Well,
Daddy
I mean, it can be
shots
mainstream.
fired.
yeah,
Not
but
mainstream.
okay. But the thing is,
It'd be like, the Barbie girl, like the Barbie song. The Barbie song's mainstream.
yeah,
But
No, it's not.
yeah, it is.
yeah, it's very mainstream.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows about the Barbie
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
So Daddy Yankee
I mean,
is
I guess that
definitely
would
mine.
count. I don't know. I don't view music soundtracks as music soundtracks. What am I talking about?
Movie,
Movie
musical.
soundtracks aren't really, in my opinion, like a guilty pleasure.
I don't know. We listen to Hamilton a lot.
Hamlet. Lit.
Yeah, but once again, that's incredibly popular and not really a
That's
guilty
that's not a
pleasure.
guilty pleasure for me. I do like it. It's not a guilty pleasure. I like it. My guilty pleasure might be Six Shooter by Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh my god.
Because do you know it? It's so dumb. It's if you asked someone who doesn't like Screamo to sing Screamo, they would make Six Shooter, and it's hilarious.
I gotta pull up some of these lyrics.
I really don't know of anything that would be like, yeah, this is my guilty pleasure. I listen to like a lot of video game soundtracks, I guess.
Yeah.
but I wouldn't really count those as.
Oh, I have a
Okay.
video game soundtrack that's a guilty pleasure. Any of the like spoken word songs from the Sonic games.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. I love all the chiptune stuff from the Mega Man, the old Mega Man games
Yeah.
on Super Nintendo and Nintendo and all that. And like I found a playlist on Spotify from Capcom that has a lot of the old, like their old like weird chiptune rock stuff. So it's kind of
Wow,
interesting.
That's actually pretty neat.
I don't know if that counts as a guilty pleasure,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy video game soundtracks.
All right. Let's hear some lyrics from Six Shooter.
Oh yeah.
Please try and sing it.
Before
Make
we
it
do
stream
either of you wanna
appropriate, though.
rotate out
Yes.
with Caleb?
Wait, what?
Do either of you want to rotate out with Caleb?
I was gonna say paper, rock, scissors.
He goes,
Paper, rock, scissors.
Rock,
Rock, paper,
We
rock,
only have
paper,
so many
scissors.
microphones, and Caleb, we want to hear some.
we want to hear Caleb's voice.
Actually, do
Okay.
any of you guys want to switch?
I'm gonna perform magic tricks to various people.
He can, I
around
guess,
the room.
I think he can take my spot if he wants.
No, I'm getting up, Michael.
Okay, Aaron's
Wow.
getting up. Never mind. I'm going to retract my statement.
You always do this.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you don't have to
You don't have
raise
to
your
raise-
voice.
He had my...
All right, this concerns me. Will this ruin my entire life's reputation?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
done
Yes.
right
Just
now.
the fact that you
How are you,
sat down
how are you
already.
raising your children?
Delete your
Do what?
resume.
How are you raising your children? How are you planning on raising
Are
your
they
children
going
in
to
the
be
future? See, I've asked that earlier, and Brent just said to deal with it and move on. So,
Hypothetically.
hypothetically, how are you
Children.
planning on raising your children?
I
With
don't
no
expect
hair.
them to be redhead because that's a recessive trait, and I'm the only one who's redhead in my family.
I
Perny,
did not know that.
Perny, you have multiple recessive traits right now.
Yeah.
You got red hair. You have blue eyes.
All right, this isn't a roast.
I'm not roasting
It's
here.
biology.
I'm
This is
definitely not
genetics
roasting here.
101.
I'm already live
I am
on the internet
talking
on
genetics.
some creepy stream that's going to be taped and recorded, and my boss is going to find later and go, "Oh, that's what you did in college."
He has recessive
It
genes.
could have been
What?
worse. It could have been a lot worse.
So I gotta
Yeah.
watch what I say.
Yeah. All right. So, how are you raising your hypothetical children?
That's such a broad question. In what way?
That's up to you. How, like
This
technology,
regards-
In regards to technology.
especially in regards to technology.
Oh, the specific conversation that Brent had with me the other day.
I guess I don't know. Did he have a conversation?
Earlier today in chapel. What happened in chapel?
Didn't you guys have to put
Before
your
chapel.
We praise Jesus.
Oh, before chapel.
I'm
you put your
spiritually
phones
formed.
in
I
a
didn't have
bag?
to go.
That was
Yeah,
today.
we also did that.
What?
They put their phones in paper bags today.
Who did?
carried mine around like that all day.
Oof, owie.
Everybody did.
In chapel. I didn't go. I just saw everyone in the cab with paper bags, and I was like,
Oh.
what?
See, I'm spiritually formed. I didn't have to.
How is Caleb raising his
Yeah, but how is Caleb raising his hypothetical children? Sorry,
Are you going to make your kids put their phone in a paper bag?
all the time.
What's the?
Talk about how like you were raised in that sense,
I
and
was
then
raised in that sense?
and then kind of talk about what your plan is for your children.
Okay. The way I was raised, as I got my first phone in 5th grade, and the only reason I got a phone was because the school had this weird thing that it was a pain in the butt to call home when we would get let out early. So mom said, "I'm going to get you a phone for that purpose." And until college, I really never used the phone for anything except for that. And then people started texting me all the time, and so I had to change phone plans because it was no longer affordable to
Got 'em.
go
So popular.
18 cents a text.
Oh gosh.
He is
Dang.
not
I-
salty whatsoever about this.
I think we're partially to blame for that.
Us or
Probably mostly at us.
Mostly Carrie. I
You may be watching it.
maybe, who knows? It's true. She knows. But I used to be able to go 3 months off of $20 and I'd have money left, but they made you refill after 3 months.
hmm
So I could go $20 the whole time that they'd let you go. We still have never had cable at home, just antenna television. We still have a tube.
What is it? 4x3.
Yes, it's 4x3.
'Kay.
That's what I mean by 2.
Classic.
I now have to letterbox it to watch the news sometimes because the text is all over the place.
Is this me now?
Yes.
What did you? Okay.
Whatever everyone
Okay.
said.
Whatever.
I'll look at it.
All right. We're moving on.
We actually only had CBS until I was 10, and then we were able to get NBC too.
Wow. So
Um,
what's your plans in regards like with your future family and that with television?
Well, I didn't get to the computer part, but
Oh,
with
okay.
television, I plan on never buying cable. I'm going to stick with antenna.
Really?
Yeah, you outlived cable. Yeah, you
What?
come over there.
That's a weird statement.
We did.
I
I mean,
love-
technically, we
Because
did.
even today,
Yeah.
I only watch the local news and maybe a show or two when I have time, which is rare. So I really don't need anything else.
That's true.
That is something that we can all. That is something that we can all agree on. That is something that we don't need cable. Who needs cable?
What about
Cable is-
sports?
We also outlived dial-up. Think about that.
Oh, I
True.
hated that.
Oh, I had dial-up.
Never
Oh,
had
yeah,
dial-up.
we
had Yeah, I dial-up. had
To
it.
my knowledge, never had
We've seen
dial-up.
its death.
I had dial-up until 2012 because there was no other ISP at home.
I think we
It's-
had dial-up up until 2014. I
That
believe.
noise would just scare me when you would pick
Yeah.
up the phone trying to call someone and then someone was on the internet. That
I
was
used
so
to.
weird.
Okay, funny story. I used to play the original StarCraft online a little bit back in the day when we had dial-up, and a viable tactic for me to use, because I could count on people having dial-up, was if I was about to lose, I would take my units and run in circles around the map, and hope someone would call my opponent's house to disconnect them from the match,
Wow.
and I would win by forfeit.
Oh my gosh, you scrub. That's
I
awesome.
Scrub?
I was the worst kind of person
He
ever.
got good.
That's the earliest known version of a DDoS attack in the history.
waiting
Yes.
for someone else to do it.
My
Yes.
dad once before would pick up the phone knowing I was trying to get on the internet and talk through the modem. Hello? And Mom would get angry when she first started getting into eBay because all the people with broadband would beat her at the last second while she was waiting for the page to refresh.
Good times. Not really, but
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think my family had dial-up, but we had Wi-Fi until about 2012, and then when we moved to a new house, we were like, "Nah, we're just gonna use hotspots on our phones
wow, that's
with
cool.
a lot of data."
Yeah.
So,
Actually, when we first
not a
got
huge fan.
laptop at home, we still had dial-up, and so I managed to rig up my desktop computer to serve as a modem for the wireless router and do dial-up Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
impressive.
That's
But the
actually
desktop
really-
had to be running.
That's pretty wild.
So, with dial-up, I'm just reminded of certain websites that don't exist anymore that I'm very sad about, like Millsberry. These are like little games for like,
Oh
kids.
yeah.
Millsberry and
Cool
like
math.
the big Pop Shop, the big
Surely Cool Math's
idea.
still around.
Yeah.
I used to play like VeggieTale games online that don't exist anymore. Yeah, and like Club Penguin just recently died. Well, not died, but like moved
Well, it
to
shut
like
down.
a phone app now.
Yeah.
So
Wait, it's a phone app now?
yeah.
What?
You have to like, not saying that I've tried using it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
but you have to like pay to just like you do the basic things on the
sorry.
app.
We're failing so hard at these magic tricks that Aaron keeps trying.
No, but he hasn't done anything. He,
I
like,
took
never did anything
a
with it.
whole
What is
stack
supposed to be
of
now?
cards here.
I've gotten you guys.
I just straight up showed
I
him my card.
didn't even see the trick. He just got upset that I picked the wrong card.
Oh, he's just making us pull cards and then just walking
Is
away.
that the magic? Is to give me a card and then run away?
Hey, what happened to my
Magic?
polarizer?
It's on the. It's like in that. Oh, I put it back on your lens. It's right here.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I was a little
I don't know
worried
why
for a
I feel
second.
the need to yell.
You shouldn't, because these can
I
hear
do.
you very well.
I
It's
yell
just
all
as
the
my
time.
default MO when I'm.
When you're trying to talk over people, also, yeah, getting used to like talking at a level these mics can hear you. You can just have a normal conversational tone.
But yeah. So,
I'm just
anyways,
thinking.
how are you gonna raise kiddos?
What just happened?
You didn't say hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Oh, the hypothetical kiddos. How are you raising your children?
Hypothetical kids.
Hypothetical.
Not the ones you have now.
Not the ones you have, the other ones that don't exist yet.
Not my actual kid.
No, not your
Yeah.
actual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In regards to those things, I've already said I'm going to have antenna because I don't have any need for cable. We will have internet at home, but because of the destructive things that can happen in your teenage years with internet.
Yep.
Good way to phrase
My thought is to have. I haven't thought this fully through because there are details that are somewhat impractical, but to have a family computer in an open spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I had an internet connected computer in my bedroom.
Yeah. My parents wouldn't let me have anything that could connect to the internet in my room.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think.
And I like the fact that I did not have a smartphone until I was forced to.
Just
Recently.
last year.
Yeah. Recently.
This
May.
summer. Yeah.
No, June. It was June.
Also, I took full advantage of him getting a new phone and took selfies of
Oh, on
myself
the
on his
Facebook
phone.
We
thing.
did.
No, my
And then he
favorite
posted
thing-
them to Facebook.
No, but my favorite way that Michael was explaining this to me was like, yeah, I took these pictures on Caleb's phone, and I wanted to see how long it would take for him to like realize. I guess it didn't take him long, and then it was just on Facebook already.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
found
good.
Becca's the other day, but I don't even know. I must have really not been paying attention because she got pictures of me at close range.
I had the phone in front of the computer screen, and you literally didn't even see it. And you were looking at the computer screen. I don't know how.
I watched her take your phone,
was
pick it up,
focused
and
on
start
work.
taking the pictures.
That's what the life does to you.
Yeah. But I'm assuming that non-smartphones won't be functionally
Yeah.
existable things.
Well, they're still a
but,
thing.
So I would use the restriction settings to cut off.
Make them use telegraphs.
Oh gosh.
Pigeons. Carrier pigeons.
Little boy, you gonna get a cup with a
Yes.
string.
I don't want to.
You better learn
beat up.
Morse code.
I hate you all.
Make smoke signals.
Where was I going with
Morse
all that?
code.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also
Where's
was
the-
thinking, since Brent was saying he wanted me up here, that I am glad that I did not have social media until college, because whenever I see photos of myself in the past, I'm like, gosh, I was stupid then.
Yeah.
And
That's kinda
stupid.
fun. Oh my god.
Why?
Go back to web.
Yeah.
What if like I had blood on my face?
What
if?
if?
Like, give me like a paper cut like right across my face.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Isn't there a movie like that?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Batman.
And there,
yeah.
there are no stupid
Dark Knight.
pictures or videos of me from middle or high school on the internet.
You're so lucky.
I think
for
I can
that.
find a few.
Hashtag blessed.
I've got some stupid pictures
you
of
do.
me
But
also,
floating
they
around
make
on the
me-
internet, looking like
I
Dobby.
put them on
Video
private, but
streaming
they're
live
good.
With a card in your ear right now.
Fight me. This is art. You little biscuit.
Oh, he told you.
Ooh, got him.
I mean, I remember having a secret MySpace page and then feeling very guilty about it one day because they talked about it at church or I don't know what. And so I immediately went home and sat there like pondering if I should get rid of my MySpace or not.
Was MySpace like? I don't know.
It's
was
like
like
a
the
precursor
Facebook
to
to
Facebook,
Facebook.
yeah.
I know what
So-
MySpace was, but you're saying that they were talking about it at church, like.
Yeah, it
was this
wasn't
the
good.
Cardinals thing?
Yeah, it was at the time. I
Is
guess
this a
I don't
Southern
know.
Baptist church?
It was a Mexican
Hey.
church, a Mexican
Bernie, you agree with
Pentecostal
me.
church that I went to as a young child. So they didn't want kids to have it or something. I don't know what, but I just remember thinking like I had a lot of fun on MySpace, like coding and making my own profile all cool and stuff. I had a media player as soon as you like got onto my page and stuff. But I deleted it because I didn't want my mom to find it.
Yeah. I had a secret email account for a long time.
That
If
sounds
you-
really businessy.
Yeah.
I used Hotmail for forever because it was the only thing that would load on dial-up.
Oh man.
I think a lot of people did that, actually.
I had
That's
a-
why Hotmail still exists.
I had a secret Battlefield Play for Free account, which was the free-to-play Battlefield back in the day. And I was actually playing the game when they shut the servers down. And I was really upset, and I thought
cried?
someone had picked up the phone again.
Oh.
And so I gave myself away by shouting, "Who's on the phone?"
I used to have an account with, I think it was like NASA Kids, some online little
Oh
game.
boy.
Oh wow.
And you had, in order to get your username and password, you had
have
to
your parents.
do it by postcard.
Oh.
I
That's
think I still
cool.
had the postcard somewhere.
Nice.
You know,
Pure M&Ms at
do
that
you
point.
remember Funbrain?
Yes.
Where you had to
Yes.
like, you would play all the different games.
And you,
put
like,
It
them
have
still
to
on
it
make
board.
a
still
code.
exists and it still works.
You have to like use a code to
Full
like
math
catch
was
up to a
eliminated then.
game, like a milestone kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would just put in random 4-letter words and see up to what game they'd let me skip. Cake was always a good one. I remember that.
I remember that was the one with like the Adventures of Doodle Man or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were so much
Platforming
fun.
stick.
With the shark and
Yeah.
with the meat
I
shark.
never finished it because like we
The
were
one
only
with
able
the
to play for a
volcano
certain
is
amount of
hard.
time, and then
Yeah.
like the volcano one is hard. So like never got to finish that. I think I could now.
And the
But, like-
let's do that on the next episode.
Let's do that while we're waiting for Life is Strange episode 2. Let's
Yeah.
play through Funbrain.
No, we need to play through. Inside, Limbo, not Limbo. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and
Funbrain.
something else before we get to that.
I'll start my own. We're
Start your own channel.
just to play Funbrain.
Yes. Wait.
If it's 50 pickup, I'll beat you up.
Got a pretty good hand right here.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Can I see it?
School buses have Wi-Fi now.
What?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I've heard of that.
Does this
My
Wi-Fi
bus didn't
school
even have
bus?
No, no, no.
Yeah, for real though.
In
Does it have
South
a
Texas, they
seatbelt
had
if they're
them.
adding Wi-Fi?
Why do you need
No.
Why do you need seatbelts?
Seatbelts are they become like
They're safety
safety
hazards
issue.
in a
Yeah.
in a
In a
vehicle
school
that
bus.
large. They're a safety issue.
Yeah.
Seatbelts.
That's why they don't have them on school buses.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's a really
Thing
good.
is, they've had Wi-Fi in buses since I was I know for sure since I was in high school, because there was a local charter school that had it because a lot of the kids that went there didn't have any way of internet at home,
Mhm.
so they would do their homework on the bus on the way back to school, and mainly because it was in a different city, so that helped them a lot.
My mom
I've
I think
heard
that
of
makes
for
sense.
years.
reminded me of my game in the days prior to internet, or when we barely had internet. Did anyone play Pajama Sam?
I know what it is. I never
Yeah.
played it,
Yeah.
but I know what it
Pajama
is.
Sam.
Pajama Sam was
We
my
should play through
jam.
it on.
Did you ever beat the game?
Yeah,
I did the one about like night, or what was it like?
the box tops, the one.
Yeah.
What you eat,
You are what you eat. Yep, that was the one.
that's the one I have.
Dude, that one was
What is
so
this? I
much
don't know what
fun.
this is.
It was like a little point-and-click adventure game where you play as like a blue kid
In
he's
pajamas,
in pajamas.
and his name is Sam.
And you go through this food world.
Yeah, and it's
Food
like
World, wow.
all the people are foods.
You escape jail.
I think I got this in a Chick-fil-A kids meal or something, but it was like Adventures in Odyssey. But it was a
Yes.
computer game.
The good old Adventures in
a
Odyssey.
CD, it was like
I
a
remember that one.
computer ROM thing, and you would just click and point through and do different things.
I remember getting those on tape out of the Chick-fil-A
Stop,
kids meal.
Aaron.
Oh,
Stop.
wow.
Oh my
Focus
gosh,
it
Aaron.
back.
I gotta show him who Pajama
What is your face?
Yes,
Alright,
Prinny.
fine.
Yeah, I also.
That's it. That's Pajama Sam, guys.
Pull it way farther away.
Oh, that is actually.
Oh.
Oh, Pajama Sam.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that was
still not
it.
familiar with that, but that's cool.
I never played the games, but I
Huh,
like.
that looks familiar.
I found
actually.
out about him more recently.
Is that a veggie tail?
Oh.
Is it
Let's
veggie
stop
tail?
there.
You're guided through the,
Do you
the
have to
level by a
censor
bunch
that?
of broccoli
Yeah.
and like asparagus.
Are you using kidney beans?
Is this program regulated by the FCC?
Probably.
Actually,
Got
it's
him.
the ESRB. Thank
Oh,
you.
then you rode the hot air balloon to there.
Yep.
Oh, oh.
Wow.
And you.
Oh, modern art.
It was really trippy. It was one of the cooler games I played as a kid, and I had
Is it
not
more
forgotten
cooler
or had
than
not thought
3D
about it
games?
until now.
3D
So thanks, Mom.
Madeline
And pin it
Little
back.
Mermaid.
All right,
I used to
well,
play Disney Channel movies, like Disney Channel games all the time, like Kim Possible, A Stitch in Time, or something like that.
I remember that one.
There was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends had a really cool, like Cartoon Network had really cool games.
Cartoon Network.
That
had a bunch of
TV
cool
show
games.
was lit.
That Foster's
My
Home
mom
for
never let me
Imaginary
watch
Friends
that.
played forever.
I've actually never seen a full episode.
It was my mom's favorite
I love that
cartoon
show.
that she would watch with us.
I wish my
Yeah.
mom would. I just remember kids talking about chocolate milk growing up, and like
I
kids
like
talking about
chocolate
like
milk.
hot toes or something.
Yes.
Topeka or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
I was left out of the loop on this.
Well,
Something about
Perny,
deodorant,
for those of us
maybe.
that weren't using antenna for our TV, we had actually good TV shows.
No, there were some good shows on PBS.
Good shows.
Yeah, Rough Ruffman.
Oh,
You know.
there is not the closest PBS station around here was.
That's where you get it from.
Just kidding. We had a
You
bunch of. I had a
understand
bunch of
that
good
when he
PBS
says
shows.
things, people can hear it.
What did
but
you
when you
watch?
say things,
CBS
nobody
was the
can.
only channel until I was
So what kind of kid shows did you grow up watching?
Blue's Clues.
Yes,
conversation.
goody.
Whatever
Even
else
if
is
you're
included
trying to
in
have a
Nick Jr.
conversation where it's just you two
What?
talking,
Whatever else is included. in Nick
everybody
Jr.
can hear.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
Oswald, Little Bear, Little Bill.
I thought you
Who were
said
you
Hank
talking
Jr.
to?
Yes,
I thought
that
you
is.
said Hank Jr. I was
No,
like-
Nick Jr.
I was like, you're getting
Oh,
Oh,
I
Nick,
remember that
good
one.
Remember Face?
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
I do remember that one.
Yes.
Every Saturday morning. I have him on tape.
Oh no, I see it.
Please don't hurt yourself, Aaron.
You're gonna first off, it's
I hope their parents are still watching.
Should I leave? Am I liable?
All right. Well,
Yeah.
since Open Dorms is about over and we've now been streaming for almost 2 hours.
Well, I just joined the show.
Well, Perny,
Did I kill the joy?
no, the girls
No.
have to leave. We can keep going.
That's
See if
true.
anybody has any questions or anything.
Yeah.
I haven't
audience,
seen any
Go to your
questions.
kids.
Any questions
I
from the
don't
audience?
know. I haven't sat there and thought about
You
this.
haven't,
Kennedy.
I have.
Shouldn't I consult the other member of the
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
process?
Well,
Yes.
I don't. We don't have to.
Also, usually the guy doesn't get a say.
My dad named my sister.
My sister's name was drawn out of a hat.
Was out of a hat
Does
her
she
middle
know
name?
that?
Surprise if you didn't know.
Her name's Fedora.
That's adorable.
It was the tag. J.C. Penny. Her name is Penny. Her name is Delards.
Bethany, right?
Yes, Bethany.
My sister's name's Bethany. Wow.
Hey, welcome back, Dustin.
We've got a two
For the
of
third
diamonds
time.
here.
I've decided I want my kids. Okay, so there's families that start all their names with the same letter. I want them to end in H because I like that sound. Like the soft, like Noah, Jonah, Delilah.
My
And
parents
definitely
all-
don't start with the same because then you can't initial your.
I'm naming my kid after Drew.
Oh no. I got a quick
What?
veto from the real boss.
What happened to Jimmy?
What's wrong with that?
There's
all
no
my
Jimmy?
family
Just-
has 5-letter names.
What do you do? Like, okay, if there's someone you know that you.
It took Kayla that long to realize
No,
it.
I heard it when she said it out loud. I was like, okay.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Yep. It's the greatest
Oh
one.
my god. Oh
I
man.
don't even know what I was about
I'm
to
so
say.
glad that wasn't on stream.
Naming your children and you like the age.
Oh no! Okay, no,
and
no,
sound.
no. Like, let's say there's a name that I like, that's not common, like Hunter. You know.
Hunter hat.
So where I'm from, Hunter. No, okay, listen.
The H is
So,
silent.
if I want to name my kid after like someone, not someone, like there's not a hunter that I've met that like, oh, I want to name my child after you. I just like that name and I want to use it. Later on, when I post about it on whatever social media we're using, I don't want that person thinking I named my kid after them. I just liked that name and I want to use it.
Mhm.
Like that's something I'm sure not everyone like thinks about, but that's something that I think about. Like, if I want to name my friend, if I want to name my child, you know, Kennedy, and Kennedy's not a really, you know, common name. Yeah.
Kenny is a good name.
Yeah.
And yes, I will give props to Kenny Suit if I name my child Kenny.
Kenneth. I've met a Kenneth before.
Hi, this is my son, Kenneth Sportscoat.
What?
You lost me.
Kenny Sports Coat instead of Kenny Suit.
Suit. Oh.
Kenny Tux.
Okay.
Today I took a
Candy.
picture of him when he
That's
broke
alright.
into Swainey's office at lunchtime to
Danielle
get
Beckbaum.
candy.
He broke in.
Yeah, he
He
does
took
this all the
candy.
time. When she was gone for her surgery, he would break into her office. And
Your
steal
leg.
candy. So I took a picture and sent it to her this time.
What did people say in the comments?
Nothing. I didn't see really anything much.
I got a shout out at the very beginning.
Last I saw was
Meeting.
Oh, my phone just
Mrs.
died.
Doolittle.
What time is it?
It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is now 10:56.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, say if anybody has anything they want to talk about, if they want to ask any questions or anything, blah blah blah. Just kind of transition to that time. Daniel, it's on you. Go.
All right. If anyone would like to ask any questions of us, or if you have any topics you want to throw out, plop them in the chat. In the meantime, we are going to talk about how.
Gun control.
Yeah,
Let's
gun
not.
control.
Let's not.
Going back down that path, we did
Nope.
that like what, our second episode?
I think so. I think we had a good
Second or
conversation.
third?
No, I think it was the third. Because the second one was where we had so many people in the background.
Yeah, that's true. There was the third one where we had.
It was the
that
third
discussion.
one where we had a good discussion.
But yeah.
No offense to the people that we had in the background.
Yeah, it was fun. We just didn't have a lot of structure to
Yeah.
the stream back then.
Yeah. Not that we really have structure to it now,
I was
but
about to say,
No,
like,
there's
well,
more, and there's more microphones.
there's more microphones, therefore more structure.
BYOM.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Everybody
thank you,
is on-
D. Cole.
Oh, everybody wants snowball in here?
Yes.
Skype.
Any questions?
All right. So, do we have any questions on there? If not,
If not, we'll talk about Metal Gear Solid a little more.
No.
Yes, please.
I'm just throwing it out there. My parents
Yeah, let's
had to
go.
watch me play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 because back then I had my Xbox in the living room. And those games were made by a very strange guy from Japan named Hideo Kojima. And he's really eccentric. And he's like,
he does what he wants.
he does, yeah, he literally he does what he wants. He's like I would say he's almost like the Quentin Tarantino of gaming, but where Quentin Tarantino is like carelessly violent and stuff like that.
He has a
Hideo
purpose for
Kojima
everything he
tries
does.
to be really serious, but comes off kind of quirky and a little melodramatic. But they're really like all this stuff is really good, but it's like, well, let me give you an example. In his most recent Metal Gear game, one of the characters is a large-chested woman who's wearing a bikini, but she's supposed to be like some elite sniper in like Super Spy. And they explain her very skimpy clothing as she's a mutant who breathes through her skin. So if she had clothes on, she would
She would
suffocate.
suffocate.
Oh.
Kennedy is just now finding out about this character.
This is in a game that's like supposed to like it's super serious and it's about like the Cold War and the fall of the Soviet Union and stuff. And then that's in there.
On that note, Kennedy is leaving.
So is Kayla.
And Kayla is too. Has nothing to do with it being 11 o'clock, but because of the statements that Daniel just made.
Aaron,
Sorry.
Go sit down in Kayla's spot.
We're going to have this. Oh, Bernie's just going to take 2 mics.
I need to. I'm in stereo now.
Yep.
Well,
Nope.
actually, no, you're just 2 channels in the left.
Right, so I'm Aaron.
Hey, welcome to the show, Aaron. Glad to have you on here. Oh my God.
Please don't do that. It makes a very loud sound
It does.
on the stream. Yeah, so all
Like,
you can
like that?
hear is yeah.
Or like, how loud?
I have now claimed more territory on this couch. That's right.
Have you?
I am your ruler now.
The food.
I did it. The couch is now mine. I'm gonna cover my very white legs.
Your legs cannot be wider than mine.
That's true. We're gonna have another redhead added to the show.
The best type.
All right. So how are you gonna raise your hypothetical children?
Oh, my hypothetical children? I hypothetically probably won't have any.
Okay.
But my real children,
Does
Right
that
now-
mean that you currently have children?
Yes, but don't tell anyone at Milligan.
No comment.
Okay.
Don't even tell his fiance. She doesn't know.
No, she doesn't know either. I have little mixed children, and I think I might get in trouble for that at Milligan for some reason.
Having the
Milligan's
children
not-
or them be mixed.
Mixed children, because I have a white fiance.
Fiance?
Yeah, a wife fiance.
Yep,
Interesting.
it's a good way. It's
So how
a,
are you
it's
gonna
a good
raise
start.
them?
So how are you like, raising them?
Technology
You gonna give them
wise?
phones?
No, they will never have a phone.
Ever.
Ever.
They will
Even when
never
they're
see
like
the light of
30 and
day.
moved away.
No, they're not allowed to.
Okay, fair enough.
Television?
Jason, if you're out there, get off your phone.
In the future, when your children are watching this, or currently, we don't know.
There is time travel.
If his adult children ever get a phone, you will find them and break the phone in front of their face.
You just clipped so hard, Daniel.
Good.
So, what about television, internet?
Television. I haven't decided on that one yet. As of right now, it's a no.
At all?
At all, no television.
Dustin's the only
internet-
one allowed to have this stuff in his house.
My dad was not allowed to have a TV growing up. His family was crazy.
I wasn't allowed to have children growing up. It was pretty hard. Even to this day, it still affects me.
Really?
It's like just flashbacks of.
That one
You
died.
broke the camera, you idiot.
Oh.
That was Daniel.
Brent, did that scar you too?
What?
Not being allowed to have
No,
children?
Brent had children growing up. He was since he was the firstborn.
We liked him better.
Usually, it's the youngest child that gets the the very nice
kids,
treatment.
You know, I mean, kids are a whole different.
Where did they learn
basket
from
of eggs.
their mistakes?
I don't know, Brent. How did your kids turn out, Brent? I haven't seen them in a while.
Brent has no microphone, so he's waving his arms and miming as if somehow that's speaking without a microphone.
He's gonna sign language to us. Daniel's just gonna awkwardly walk back and forth.
So no television, no phone. Are you starting a cult with your children? What's going on?
No. They're just not allowed to have.
Are they going
any
to have special Kool-Aid?
No.
Special.
That's
what is
racist.
Special
Kool-Aid?
punch.
Oh my gosh.
That is so racist. Caleb.
Are they gonna be as good at video games as you are?
No, no one will ever be as good as I am at any type of video game.
Oh, man.
Speaking of, World War II comes out in about an hour.
Yeah, and I'm a little.
Preloaded.
Yeah. I have to go and get a physical copy because I chose to do a physical copy.
In an hour?
What? Why would you do that?
I like hardware, so I like having the cases and everything. So I know I'm weird, but I like having the stuff. Yeah, I know. So I have to wait until tomorrow to play it.
That's awful.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. You guys can show me everything that you know, and then I'll do it better. Which is not true whatsoever.
You know, I didn't think about that. I'd never had video games growing up either.
Do you think it'd be okay for your children to have video games?
I don't know.
Do you think it'd be okay to have children?
Do you think it'd be okay for your video games to have children?
Some video games do that.
Or your video games to have children?
That doesn't make any sense.
Can you prove it?
Should I have to? See, Mom didn't allow video games in the house because she said that she watched her brother's brain ooze out one summer. That was her reasoning.
Mine has been oozing out for a while then.
Well, maybe I should stick to that plan.
Maybe.
Who is this guy? What is your name?
Sir
Sir?
or madam, it's 2017. You can be whatever you want.
What have I walked into?
It's too late. You're here. You have to deal with it. Whatever happens. So you are not going to allow your children to have video games, or is it just a whatever sort of thing?
It's a whatever. There probably won't be any.
You know what they say about like TV anchormen and other people?
What do they say about them?
That they never play video games.
Really?
That's what.
So I would be a good anchor.
Yeah.
I really hope that came through.
What will I anchor? Which news?
You'll be the weatherman, so
I'll
you
be the
can be
weatherman.
eccentric as possible. You're
Not-
gonna be on
not-
Sinclair.
My weatherman in my hometown used to compete in pro Smash tournaments, actually.
This guy sounds cool, and I want to meet him.
He's like a balding 28-year-old fella who could totally destroy his spots. It was weird.
I want to meet this man.
He was an interesting fella. He also
Sounds like it.
Mic yourself, son.
Mike yourself. Treat yourself.
Aaron and I are now one, and so the
You finally have a child.
In holy matrimony.
the child I wanted. It's not a little wonky, but that's okay. Don't we all?
Yep.
Yeah. Drew's anus just imploded,
Drew just gave birth.
and now he's contorted his body into the Nike logo.
Brent's running for dear life for no apparent reason.
I mean, I know Uranus is a gas giant, but
Oh, I get it. Okay.
whoa!
Is it actually Uranus?
Uranus. What's that?
Uranus.
Uranus.
What's that?
So see, you thought I was backward.
Oh, I need to return that.
Because Dustin's kids aren't going to have anything.
They're never gonna have anything
Nothing.
ever.
They're not going to know. They're not going to see the sun. They're not going to know that anything exists outside of the house.
Ever.
Have you seen, what is that movie with the mom and the child in a box, and that's all they know? It's like the box world.
I don't know.
out of
The Boxcar Children?
Yes,
I read that growing up, and it has nothing to do with what
Stephen
he's talking
King's
about.
Misery.
Stephen King's life.
Stephen King and autobiography.
Goodness, what is that movie? It came out like 2 years ago. It's called The Room. That's what it is. They're in a room.
Is it The Room?
No, not
Because
not
that's
that room.
it's a different The Room. Okay.
This
'Cause
story
the-
you're talking
the
about,
room
I feel
I'm-
like I've heard this, but it was actually real.
Yes.
Based
It wasn't
on,
me, though.
Based on a real story, The Room, featuring Tommy Wiseau.
I mean, like I'd heard about this woman that had been kidnapped, and she was pregnant, ended up having her kid in this room, and for years that was all they knew that it existed.
They made a movie about that.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So that's going to be your family? He's not going to say anything to incriminate himself.
Wow. You'll know soon.
Although I
enough.
think they had a television, so she used the TV to try to teach her kid what was out there.
Oh.
That's all they had. I don't remember where I heard this.
Well, what channels did they get? Because
I don't know.
the child might have a strange view of the world if they had like Animal Planet or BBC.
All they have are news stations.
I mean, the locals are required to be on your cable by law, so at least they would have that.
That's fair. So they actually know a lot about
This sounds like a Dateline Keith Morrison narrated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
It was all they knew.
All they
or
had
was
was
it?
C-SPAN.
Oh, thank God. Oh, man.
All right. Do you guys want to
Yeah.
play us out?
Yeah.
Right, so.
Thank. All right, thank you all for joining us on this stream. We have two redheads in this episode, and it was pretty cool. We talked about some interesting things, like our hypothetical children that are entirely hypothetical, unless you're Dustin, which they're real. I'm just kidding, or are we? And so it's been fun having everyone on today, and be sure to tune in. Are we having one Saturday? Are we having one on Saturday, or is that? Okay, be sure to tune in on Saturday for the Thursday Show Saturday edition at the same time, and be sure to tune in next week as well. Bye.
Bye.